Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch me, please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. You came for one man, forget my peace. You take the west, I'll take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Not so tough, but mans keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls, let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch me, please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
That's going to be an expensive ticket tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah.
We won a Game 7, right?
No.
Yeah.
What was the matter with you?
Come on, this team's afraid of nobody on the road. You wouldn't have confidence in your team in a Game 7 in Edmonton? This is the best road team in the history of hockey.
That's how you decided to start.
I'm just asking you.
No.
I'm just asking you.
Establish the zig.
In Dan's defense, I think the Panthers want to win on the road in Game 7. They want to do, Mike, I'm serious. They want to prevent McDavid from winning the Cup in front of his home fans. They do.
Too early for this shit.
Feels better.
Let's talk about how good everything feels before we're like, all right, let's go on the road and do this.
Dude, I'm not worried about the team. I'm worried about the travel. I'm tired. I just got here.
Is McDavid hurt? Has he even played this series?
He's scoring in Game 5.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How many goals does he have this entire playoffs?
Right.
Yeah, the entire playoffs. I think it's 7. Oh, Brad Marchand, 6?
Yep.
In this series alone? Okay.
Yep.
Hi, Conn Smythe.
And a garbage goal does not count as a goal in my personal record book. I mean, seriously, it was a meaningless goal. I mean,
I want to go through some stats with you guys in a second. But, Zaslow, how much are those tickets going to go for?
Last I checked was last night. Cheapest ticket was $1,100 just to get in the building.
wow.
I can't pay $1,100. No. It's $1,100 times 3 for me because I got to take both my boys. So I'm out.
You're out. Too steep because this has been a hell of a run by you. You agreed to work here for either free based on a bet, Atlanta against the Miami Heat, work for free or work for pay throughout the Panthers run, and the Panthers are at least going to give you the maximum number of games possible to get paid here throughout the summer on hockey and kick in on the bonus, which we did not have the bonus in play of now you get bonus shows paid for because the Panthers have had the run of runs. When I say they're a great road team, though.
Do I get to keep coming after hockey, by the way?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It triggers a clause. If the Panthers win the championship, it triggers a clause of you continuing on this heater.
Wow.
Good.
That's the contract language I saw. As a road team, okay, they're 25-11 since 23 in the playoffs, okay? That stat is crazy. That stat is nuts. 25-11 on the road in the playoffs since 2023 makes them the best road hockey postseason team there's ever been. They've got 61 road goals. They're plus 30 on the road. They're afraid of no one. And after losing that way in Game 4, where Edmonton breathes life for the first time on, we can get it to 2-2, and we came back from 3-0. We're the only team in the league that can do that to the Panthers. The only team in the league that can go from down 3-0 to winning that game in Florida. But Florida doesn't care, and Florida makes you pull your goalie, and Florida scores more goals than most teams ever have in hockey. And let me revisit for a second the spectacular wrong of Mike Ryan specifically going after Brad Marchand, because these numbers are crazy, okay? He's got as many goals in this final as Draisaitl and McDavid. That third goal of that game is as pretty a goal as there has been in the playoffs. We have the call for that in Finnish and Spanish. But I'm not kidding you when I say the goal at 3-0, we can make an argument that it was the prettiest goal of the playoffs, what Marchand did in every way, from cheating at the beginning because he was in the faceoff circle early, I'm not even understanding how he physically did what he did to be the oldest player to ever do something only Lemieux has done before, which is score more than 5 goals for 2 different teams. Let's play the sound, though, first and finish, and let me again show you how the Spanish language is better.
Marchand hyppää Jake Wallmanin ohi, tekee maalin! Ei voi olla! Brad Marchand! Huikea osuma jälleen Marchand vyö halvalla Oilers puolustusta!
That's good.
It's a good call.
It's pretty good, yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
What he said.
I that Mike is incredibly wrong about Brad Marchand, who's the most valuable player in this series and scores like no one ever has at his age. He's done something that hasn't been done since 1922. Do you know the team that did it? The Vancouver Millionaires.
Really?
Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le
Original
Batard
six,
Show.
huh?
Did you know there was such a thing as the Vancouver Millionaires? They've got 5 goals on the road. 5 goals on the road in a final from Marchand is the most since 1922. Play the call in Spanish.
Arriba para que venga Marchand, Marchand que se autohabilitó, Marchand puede hacer golazo, Marchand, ¡gol! ¡Gol! ¡Golazo! ¡Gol! De las Panteras, Brad Marchand, espectacular!
Roy, for whatever is your maximum expertise on this team, no one had Marchand being one of the greatest trade deadline acquisitions in the history of the sport, making Luosterainen and Lundell and Marchand like the best third line in the sport. No matter what your expertise was, nobody was predicting this kind of impact from this guy.
Nobody was predicting him getting traded in the first place. I mean, that within itself, like, that was a shocker to everybody in the league. And now, at 37 years old, he pretty much wrapped up Conn Smythe right there. He's the MVP of the entire playoffs.
Yeah, third line has 55 points in 22 games.
Wow.
In case you were wondering, the second-round pick has been upgraded to a first for Boston. So they should feel okay about it.
Brad Marchand, espectacular!
It's what makes this team so good is their depth, and they have a first-line guy playing on the third line.
Oh, but Stugotz, yes,
Yeah,
but
Lundell.
Stugotz.
Luosterainen. These are really good players.
Yes.
And whoever gets paired with that line over the course of these 3 years together plays well, too. It's an unbelievable – it's probably the best bottom 6 line you'll find in hockey, and you're not chasing contemporaries. You're chasing ghosts with that third line.
Brad Marchand, espectacular!
So let me talk. Lundell, people will talk about him as a two-way player who sees the ice somewhat like Barkov, like
Baby Barkey.
When you talk about the depth of a team that is flogging Connor McDavid and Luosterainen, to have Marchand be a player in 22 playoff games, to have 10 goals and 10 assists, Stugotz, makes him a South Florida all-time legend icon on how runs are done emotionally. Holy shit, what do you mean we got a guy at the trade deadline who makes us this much better because now we're afraid of no one on the road. We can score more goals than anyone because we'll make you change your goalie before Game 5.
Brad Marchand, espectacular!
And they're now a game away. I want to know where to put this team if tomorrow night's expensive ticket becomes an all-time team in this town because of what they did and who they did it to.
We'll see. I guess it depends on how many people show up at La Carreta to see their legacy within this town. I do think that you can make an argument for dynasty, even though that's usually reserved for teams that win more than 2. Even though this is a bit of a ridiculous conversation because they haven't done it. yet. Edmonton might be one of the greatest teams of all time, and they just keep running into the Florida Panthers. I think for historical context, though, on Brad Marchand, a lot of people making the argument this is the most impactful trade deadline acquisition ever, and you have a solid hand. He's probably on the medal stand. Marian Gaborik scored 14 goals for the LA Kings in a great acquisition from the Columbus Blue Jackets, and your guy Butch Goring in the 1980s ended up winning the Conn Smythe.
That's your boy?
Yeah, Butchie. Yep.
Before we go any further, because I want to talk about
Number
this
91.
team. Thank you, Stugotz.
You got it.
What Marchand did to 29-year-old Jake Wallman on that goal, on the goal and finish in Spanish, lovely in any language. It's one thing to get toasted that way, the equivalent of crossed over in hockey. But it's another thing at the end of that play for you to end up on your back in the net.
It was a spectacular goal.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And he doesn't really pull away from guys. The way that he pulled away and got the look is just incredible strength and balance.
But one of the all-time playoff performers, like you're talking about somebody that we're putting in a breath with Lemieux, Stugotz, on being able to put this together during the playoffs. I'm going to have a hard time historically putting my head around how wrong Mike is.
I'm not wrong. I was wrong in calling him a rotational winger. That being said, Jesper probably does this.
You were wrong in wanting him to be a healthy scratch.
Yeah, Mackey probably does this. Those are all very gifted players.
Mike, can I help you turn this around? You were motivating Marchand. That's all you were doing.
You guys are mischaracterizing Mike. Mike likes to be proven wrong.
Yes.
And he likes saying he's wrong, and more importantly, he likes to be proven wrong.
Yes.
Right. So
another thing I like is being able to get through a thought.
Yeah. Had you proven him wrong, he would love this, but he's not wrong. When he's wrong, he'll be happy to tell you when he's wrong. Go on, Mike.
Marchand espectacular.
What do you think he's saying there?
I will tell all of you today that before we go any further on this, because I am excited to talk hockey today, like it really is wonderful to just witness greatness, and forgive me for wanting a Game 7 just because it's even better. and because just this team, good God, it's what I said to you before Game 7 last year in terms of what they're good at, burying you in the corner at the end, even if you've come back from down 3-0. They're better at this year. Like, why would I or anyone involved with the Florida Panthers be afraid of a Game 7 on the road against anybody? Like, they know they're champions. And it's not like McDavid. I'm not saying you shouldn't respect McDavid, and it's not weird that he only has one goal in 5 games, and Edmonton and Canada are about to fall on his neck because nobody wants Florida to win. Like, why would you want Florida to win? Why? This is supposed to be a coronation. Hockey's not rooting against McDavid. Why would they root against McDavid? You've got all of hockey wanting one result and one thing standing in the way, and it's this swamp thing.
Unbelievable. And the fact that the Panthers have done this on short rest. 1 day of travel.
So Mike is saying, let's not talk about this now, but I do want to put it in the context because even if they lose Game 6, I want to see what the stakes are in Game 7 are. On dynasty or underachiever?
Right.
On once in 3 years because you thought you were so close to 3?
Everything's on the line, Dan, for all the marbles, right?
A lot of them.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can make that argument when you consider the first time that they made it to the final, they were the last seed in.
But they were still there, though.
Yeah, I understand, but they were huge underdogs to Vegas. So that season wasn't a disappointment.
Right.
They win the Cup last year. If they lose to Edmonton and the best player in the game, 2 of the greatest in the game in Draisaitl and McDavid, I don't think anyone looks at them as like, you really underachieved. I don't think it's a Boston Celtics victory.
Okay, but regardless.
Put up 3 games to 2 if they wind up losing the last 2. It's a total disaster.
That would hurt.
That's where it gets disappointing. In the context of, hey, in Game 5, we had this big lead.
I want people to feel the weight of a historically great series between what I believe to be historically great teams. People will blame McDavid. I will not. The Panthers will choke it out of you. Like, I understand why you need your performer. Like, McDavid's got to be better than the Panthers. Everyone, I'm guessing that Billy and Stugotz are now in the Greg Cody camp of ready to get on board with McDavid's overrated.
I mean, I was there last year. Dan, how can you give a guy a pass if he's the greatest player in the game and he has 1 goal through 5 Stanley Cup games? How can you give him a pass? Now, we'll see what he does in Game 6 and Game 7 if there is a Game 7, but he doesn't get a pass. You have to be better than that.
And this is fair criticism, and it's what comes for the all-time greats. I'm just telling you I respect the Panthers enough to say that anyone they choke out, it's because they choke everyone out. Like, I've watched enough of this for 2 years to know that it is a failure on the bottom line for McDavid, and those are eternal, by the way. Like, this will haunt him if he cannot beat this team, and the Panthers will stand all the stronger over the years in terms of what they did historically because they held down LeBron at the beginning, because they did what the Big 3 in Boston did to LeBron, made him change teams.
This is stopping LeBron in his prime. He's 27, 28 years old. This is supposed to be the run in which he dominates the league.
I would say if the Panthers win tomorrow, and you don't get a big game tomorrow from McDavid, it becomes the Panthers won 4 out of 5 after Edmonton won game 1, and McDavid had a goal in the series. Like, he'll get absolutely crushed. Just annihilated.
I gotta keep reminding people about something, that this is not a one-man team. Yeah. It's still Leon Draisaitl on this team.
He's been fantastic,
and he might be third place in Conn Smythe right now.
Yeah, the way that I hedged last year when the Panthers had a huge lead was, let me take McDavid, Conn Smythe. I'm doing something similar, but I'm hedging with Leon Draisaitl, who I think out of the two deserves it more just because he's better defensively. But last year, the saving grace for McDavid was it was his first Stanley Cup, and he won the Conn Smythe. So how much can you really go at him? He battled back from 3-0. If the narrative plays out the way that Zaz suggested, then the media jumps on his neck, and he starts feeling the things that LeBron started feeling after that Mavericks loss.
I feel bad for him, to be honest with you. I mean, after watching him for 2 Stanley Cup finals, he's just not that good. You know, regular season guy, compiler. He puts up all the big numbers.
He's a good
in the regular
skater.
Season. Yeah, he's a fast guy. Apollo Antonono, all that. Yeah, but once the bright lights turn on, I mean, it's just
he shuts off.
Where does he go?
Literally
exactly.
won the Conn Smythe, the most outstanding player of the playoffs last year.
Yeah,
and he's got 30
we
points.
talked about that they were looking for something to give him, so they gave him that.
Points.
Yeah,
30 plus points.
People want. Look, here's the thing. This isn't his fault, right? This is an us problem as a society. We all want to feel like our lives are so important and meaningful, when in reality, it's really not in the scope of history, right? We just want to feel like we're watching the greatest thing of all time so that we can go and tell our children, oh, we watched the greatest hockey player of all time, the greatest basketball player of all time, the greatest this, that, the other of all time, so that we feel like our life had some meaning, when in reality, he's just another guy. Just another guy. And just let him be another guy. Why do we put this pressure on him and make him feel like he has to be the best? He has to be a great. He has to win the Stanley Cup or he's nothing. He's just a guy.
Well, Billy, what if you are watching the greatest thing of all time?
I'm not.
Well,
I'm not watching the greatest thing of all time. Trust me.
What David's running into.
Yeah, the Panthers.
Yeah. Yes, so Stugotz and Billy are entrenched now in the position of being unimpressed by the Panthers and unimpressed by McDavid.
True. He's just a guy.
God bless hockey, on its way to you in the future. I have to, though, stop in our tracks for a second. This weekend was dark. So this weekend, I believe, produced one of the largest, if not the largest, protest in the history of our country. If you're talking about 13 million people, if you're talking about 1% of our country, if the estimates are right, to No King Day, that America doesn't want a king. They don't want no king. They don't want a parade for a king. They don't want to feel like North Korea, more poorly done North Korea, because our guys don't march right. So, let's look at the tank here, the sound from this parade that got apparently 10,000 people. This is, a lot of people were making fun of the marching here, the junior ROTC lack of discipline in the march.
We should never.
We're not doing that.
Nope.
No, thank you for your service. Of course, nobody disputes that, but you can hear that's the tank making the sound because the parade doesn't have a lot of enthusiasm, and that you can hear. That audio is tremendous in terms of, does it sound like a parade when you can hear that's how a tank sounds when it's on asphalt and it's not a street legal vehicle.
And no one's cheering, even though there are scattered folks in the grandstand.
Yeah. Some weather issues, though, it looks like.
It didn't rain.
In these difficult times, though, I'm very happy to say here is a safe space for ESPN discarded talents that got too close to the political flame. We have somebody that we've flown in to bring positivity to our neighborhood, to Miami, to a divided city and a divided country. So
thank you.
That is not you, although welcome back. It is nice to see you again. That is outside. What is this big reveal that we have? Let's go outside and find out who we've flown in to bring some sunshine, more sunshine into South Florida.
What's happening, everybody?
What?
Yes.
Whoa.
What's going on?
Yes.
I'm assuming there's amazing cheers in the studio now.
Yes.
Yeah, there are. Yes, for him.
Celebration. What we have right here is the Freedom Tower. I just walked by the Freedom Tower. I asked them, has Dan ever been in the Freedom? Dan's never been in the Freedom Tower. I don't know how he feels about freedom. Mike Ryan has his own wing, Dan. Freedom Tower right there. Let's go get a coffee. Let's spread some love here, Dan.
Oh, we're going to go get coffee right now.
Coffee shop right. Yeah, we're going in. We're going in. Do you know this coffee shop, Corner Coffee
This
Shop?
is Tony Reali.
We're seeing if we have
Thank you.
Audience.
Yes. Thank you, Dan. That's my name. Yes. I just assume that there's a lot of cheering as I'm doing this. Hello, how are you? My name is Tony Reali. Yes.
Boy,
Hello, how are
he
you?
is so good at this.
What's your name? James. Nice to meet you. James, where are you from?
It's a good
Arizona.
handshake.
You're liking the cool temperature right here, right? You a sports fan, James? You ever seen Kick Buttowski Season 2, Episode 47? I was the voice of the Dark One. That's where I'm known for. And a TV show called Around the Horn. Does any of this mean anything to you?
Around the Horn when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
Come back home from school, like after school, you guys would be on.
Okay, so you did know. Well, you could have started with that.
Yeah.
You could have said, yo, dude, I know who you are, man.
Yes.
That would have saved me the whole Buttowski routine I was doing here. This is who's this guy to you?
This is my father-in-law.
Whoa!
Vietnam.
Vietnam. Well, here's what I wanted to say. First off, let me say Happy Father's Day. That's LeBron James out on the sideline. Happy Mother's Day. Happy International Women's Day. All right, Happy Father's Day. So you guys went on a trip together with your father-in-law? Are you out? This guy went on a trip with his father-in-law. You want positivity? That's positivity.
Reali, you're bringing people together. You're bringing people together there.
You want another one?
They're related. I mean,
Wait, no. Father-in-law said he wanted another one just to keep up with you. Let's go over here. Hello.
Reali,
How we doing? Who do we have here? Yes, you are a Jennifer. Wow, I love everything about your corner coffee shop. It's outstanding. I'd like to get these gentlemen another drink over here. Hey, how you doing? Come on in. We're getting drinks. Drinks on me. Come on in.
Really? Okay.
I'm the 37th male lead of Kick Buttowski, Suburban Daredevil. That was my claim to fame. My name's also Tony Reali. Nice to see you. Dan, that's me right now. Oh, wait a second. The most immersive experience in all of content right now.
This is it. Look,
this is like looking on ourselves. There it is right here. All right, everybody's going to get a coffee. I want to talk to Jennifer real quick. You have a wonderful corner coffee shop.
He's so nice.
Putting something together. Danny, come over here a second. Look at this.
Go in.
Look at this.
It's a church. Yes, we've got a church in the building.
This is a church?
Yes, it's a church. Yes, we've got.
I feel like I'm in a Studio Ghibli movie right now. Like I'm in a dream. There's a church.
Yes.
And a piano.
Yes.
This is the Venn diagram of me. Jennifer, can I play this piano?
oh boy.
This is like the Venn diagram. Guys, you did not tell me this. I'm going to put this right here. Hold on a second. You want positivity? Here we go.
All right.
You know he's good at this.
Don't play piano, man.
Of course he is.
Royalty-free music, please.
All right. Okay, guys, good.
Yeah,
Let's
I need it to be public domain music.
Public domain.
Yeah,
Lionel Richie's suing you right now. This is going to get you in trouble?
No.
A little bit.
No,
God bless
you
America
don't
or something like that.
Positivity.
Oh, how about this one?
Anything Beatles, Tony.
Just stop.
There it is. Yes.
All right, so we played piano. I'm not sure if I'm going to get you guys sued at the Wazoo.
Okay,
There's a church here. There's a church here.
Yes.
Look at this. I'm going up top. That may not be my church, but any church is what we need after this weekend. This is church.
Tony, it is nice.
Well, let's go see. Jennifer's going to tell me what
He's rolling,
church is. It's
Dan.
great to see you, Dan. I'm going to make my way up there.
Light a
I
candle
told
for
you
me,
I'd be
put
here
on.
all week.
Yes, but
I
we're
might
waiting
not
for you to
be
get
able
up
to make
here.
it up here.
We want to introduce you to the audience.
That's
we want
the
to
prayer
introduce
wall
you to
right
the
there.
people in the studio, and we.
So you can put prayers.
She's talking about prayers to the wall, Dan, and you're trying to get people introduced to the studio. Come on now. Have some respect.
Yep.
Have
Okay.
some respect
For
what we're
God.
doing.
I'm sorry, I was blasphemous.
I'm trying to make my way up there to you guys, but I do want to get. Everybody's getting coffees here, right? Are we doing that?
All right.
What I loved about the coffee shop's sign, Dan, let me just say this. Over here on, what is this, Biscayne Boulevard? They have something I really appreciate. We have this in Brooklyn. You buy a coffee for your next friend who can't maybe spend the money to buy that coffee next time. And I saw that. And I see you have even a statue here, a beautiful statue here for homeless Jesus. Okay. So what I'm saying here is we found one block
saying
from the
unhoused
studio
Jesus.
the most wholesome, positive place. And Dan, you've never even knew this existed. Take a little time to enjoy the view. That's all I'm saying, Dan. Let's get some coffee. I'm going to come up in a few minutes. We're going to walk around a little bit more because I want to feel I want the pulp. I want it to be pulpable. The Florida Panthers on the precipice of a Stanley Cup championship. Yes.
They play an hour north of here.
Well, you started with the show with they're going to lose, and how great is that? So we can get another game. What is that?
There was a guy wearing a nice hat. There was a guy wearing a nice hat.
That guy has
Tony
a poppy
Reali.
shirt on, it looks like.
All right.
Great to see you.
So you're
Are these people just milling about?
Upstairs, and now you're downstairs. So he's just rolling around. All right.
Yes,
Once again, this is another
nice
person
shirt.
who has no idea who Dan is.
Yes.
It's a very nice shirt. Yes.
Thank you.
Can I
Tony,
get you coffee? Yes, we're familiar with the show. That's the show that's on right now. Yeah. Good.
Fans around. This is ridiculous.
But no, look at you. You incredible length here. I mean, you can give me 20-10 right now, huh?
And 5 blocks.
And 5 blocks.
Wait.
Well, no blocks right now.
No, wait. Can you ask him
Yes,
to do it
Daniel.
for us? I'd like him to do the 20-10 if you don't
Score
mind.
20 points?
On half on the show. No,
There's
20.
a basketball court.
Well, there
I
is.
was just
There
going
is
to
a
tell him,
basketball
there's
court.
rumor there's a basketball
We're
court in
gonna go
this
out to a
building.
basketball court.
Yes.
If there's a basketball court
There
in
is
the
a
building, I'm gonna go
basketball.
out there
There
and do
is
some
one.
play-by-play.
There is
running?
one.
You gonna play with us?
Yeah, I'll play.
You have a whole free morning? Man, it's tough out there for all of us, right? All of us people who are underemployed. We can do some run. All right, let me get you coffee, get rested up, and maybe in like 15 minutes we'll go find the court, and I'm going to give a little play-by-play of your game.
That sounds great.
And I'm going to be positive about it. I know you got it. All right? Very impressed with your height, though. Good height on this guy, huh? How about that?
Reali, we will.
Yes, sir.
I want to check in with the church in a moment, and I do want you to play basketball. Thank you for spreading some positivity. Are you just going to buy drinks for everyone down there?
I'm going to buy drinks for everybody. I'm going to work my way around. I want to see what Florida has to offer, what Miami has to offer. I want to feel a city that is on the precipice of winning a Stanley Cup. I want to feel it. I know Roy's got it.
Okay.
You know?
All right. So
he just flew in.
All right. We're going to check back in with you in a few minutes. You go somewhere else in Miami where you're going to get
No,
Panthers,
I'll go somewhere else. I
Panthers
literally
palpable buzz.
have nothing to do.
Okay.
I have nothing to do with my life right now.
Okay.
Please put me to work. All right. Thank you,
nice.
sir.
It is nice to see you. I will tell everybody, and this was unfortunate. I hated that this was so. That when Reali came in with his Monday pep, when he came in small talky and happy. Our bitter crew was not here for his perky Monday morning. He hugged Roy, and Roy just said, "I'm tired." Roy, I've never seen Roy vigorously hugged by anyone that way. You sat in his embrace, or you stood in his embrace, stiffed as dry cleaning, and you just said, "I'm tired."
Dude, I just got off a plane.
Yeah.
I just got the connection from Edmonton to Vancouver to Salt Lake City overnight. I'm tired, man.
Guys playing in the Cup. I mean,
Roy, you're living the life. This is your dreams. What do you mean I'm tired? You're living your dreams right now at the top of the sport. What are you talking about?
I'm tired but happy.
But you're complaining about tired. You're drinking on an
but a
expense
happy
account.
tired, Dan.
You and Dwork.
I'm dry.
You and Dwork. Well, that's not. Whose fault is that?
My wife's.
Title, It's really like inconvenient planning, right? For you to have to go all the way over there to come back to them, maybe have to go back for one game and then come back again. You're really leaving a massive carbon footprint, Roy.
Yes, it's all the Los Angeles Kings' fault. They should have took care of things in round one.
Let me be clear, by the way, in my stumbling around in transition from hockey to Reali, because I do want to be clear about this. I'm not even mocking when I say that I have maximum respect for our troops in a situation where they are in servitude to someone they know has called them suckers and losers. When there's reports around the president that now include, whatever's going on with a catheter and a diaper and whatever's going on now that makes dictatorship okay or more okay than it seems like is okay. It's a bad spot for our soldiers. So I didn't want to and don't mean to say anything as an aspersion to our soldiers, because I don't even know what you can do in that situation where you have to be subservient to somebody who's gone full dictator. And it was an awkward transition between Reali and hockey. And Marchand is doing things, Stugotz, that I really want to put it in context of South Florida sports history. Who are the best we've ever had in terms of this icon's going to echo with your children on, holy shit, do you remember the run Marchand had 15 years ago? Like, this is generational stuff that's happening from what, like, Seth Jones isn't the one doing this, although he adds to their depth too. It's the guy they got at the trade deadline
right.
that did this, Stugotz, 13 years ago.
It would have been like if when the Heat traded for Iguodala in 2020, if Iguodala was the Finals MVP for the Heat.
But it's nuts.
And they won.
It's nuts because the best player is also the best story. Like, there's not a better story. We could talk about all the star power everywhere.
Look, I'm a hating-ass hater. He's not the best player on the line. I know he's scoring the goals. And by my math, I think I need Seth Jones to score 7 goals in the next game for me to argue that Brad Marchand isn't even the most impactful trade deadline acquisition on the team. But Lundell and Luostarinen have been incredible. Luostarinen's probably one of the best defensive forwards in the leagues, and nobody talks about it because he's on that third line. Anyone does this with that third line. It is the 3 guys. Marchand has been incredible. He is playing way better than anyone assumed he would, including yours truly. However, I am not wrong about him being a jerk, and I don't have to like him, and that was my main point.
Brad Marchand espectacular!
Where's he said?
Where's Ugueth Urbina on this list for you?
Wow, that's a good one.
Darren Dalton.
Yeah, Dutch.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ugueth Urbina we all kind of forgot about because of the whole prison thing and the machete, right?
Yeah, the murder.
So that we kind of like,
Hold
well,
on
you
a
know
second.
what?
I'm sorry. I've got to interrupt programming here because I've just been told by our crack production team that a bit we've been trying to get off the ground for a month. Chris Cody's off today. I don't know when that bit's going to make its appearance, but Big Mac is somebody who is a friend of the show downstairs, and he is now with Tony Reali, and Tony Reali is going to do a live interview, evidently, of Big Mac, introduce Big Mac to our audience. Reali, you've made a friend down there. He's a friend. He can give you the dirt on everyone on our show, Reali.
Dirt. Can we start with the chapeau? What are we rocking? I've seen Gangs of New York, and you're Bill the Butcher here. What are you talking about?
Trust me, I'm not no member of no gang.
No,
It's
a beautiful hat. What is this? What am I looking at? Is it a bowler?
It's a bowler.
A derby?
European bowler. But here in America, we call them derbies.
Yeah,
and
nice.
I get my derbies from Nets Hat.
And this is an everyday for you?
Every day. I've been wearing them since I was a kid.
Because you recognize it's 100% humidity and about 1,000,000 degrees out here. Right?
Without a doubt. But
you are just walking on clouds. Look at this posture of this man. The thoracic mobility of Big Mac. Now, we call him Big Mac because your name is Ronald.
Ronald, that's right. Because of Ronald McDonald.
And did you throw down some Big Macs in your time?
Yeah, I love Big Mac. I remember I used to work up in East St. Louis.
Those are good.
As a cook.
Big Macs are good.
And back in the day, I don't want to tell you how
Dan
long
is salivating over just the idea of a Big Mac. When Ron would sit down, how many putting down? 3, 4?
About 4.
4! Man, Ronald. Well, everybody who's come by this street knows you.
Really?
You were the mayor of this street.
Well, it was the same way when I was over there at the Flatiron. It was the same thing over in the Burkle Plaza. But right now I'm at Elser, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Get his Panther information. I don't need his history. Get his.
Talk.
Yes, yeah.
He's been a hockey fan since 1970.
Disrespecting another man.
So
in a badge,
talk to me
Dan.
about the Panthers. Would you rather they win right now at home? This is a debate they're having upstairs.
Without a doubt.
Because they're a little student.
Without
Or
a doubt.
take a loss to get to a Game 7 because it might be more exciting.
No, we had that experience last year.
Of course.
And we don't want it again.
Plus, I mean, you've won enough on the road.
Yes,
Win
we did.
some home games.
Yes, we did.
Who's your favorite Panther?
I like Matthew Tkachuk. And I like Brad, what's his name? Brashard?
Yeah, that's
Brad
it.
Marchand.
Yes, Brad Marchand.
Ask him about Chris Greer.
Remember him forever. Yeah.
Ask about Chris Greer, Tony. He hates him.
Greer.
Yeah.
Ask about Andrew Marchand. Ask him at a ball.
Chris Greer. Oh, my God.
Thank
we need
you.
to get rid of this guy as soon as possible.
Oh, boy. Okay.
As
Now, this is
soon
about
as
the
possible.
positivity today, so we're trying to work the
well,
positivity.
No,
This is why I
that's
acknowledge
okay.
your
Billy,
thoracic
get back
mobility.
in here.
I
You
love what
produced
you're doing
it.
here. Your pelvic tilt.
No, hold
your
on.
pelvic
Hold,
tilt
Tony.
underneath your body.
Tony, I
Stand
need.
tall.
Hold
Yeah.
on.
I need this segment produced by Billy Gill. Billy, get Big Mac riled up here.
All right. Billy's got a question for you.
No, we
He
don't want to
wants
rile
get
up
you
Big
riled
Mac. It's just, now it's good times with the Panthers, but we know that there's bigger pressing issues with the Dolphins and Chris Greer, and he's got to go.
There's pressing issues with the Dolphins, and Chris Greer's got to go. You give me 30 seconds right here. This is your FaceTime. I'm not sure if you ever saw a show called Around the Horn, but you just won today's show. And now you've got 30 seconds to talk about whatever you want.
Okay.
But we're hoping for a little Chris Greer action.
Okay, I want to talk about Chris Greer simply because he's been here too long, and he makes the same mistakes. He get a good couple of guys, and then he doesn't know what he's doing. And I'm just sick of looking at him because everything is funny to him. Everything is funny to Chris Greer.
We're getting run over by a car.
You notice when
Let's just get over here.
He's
Ron.
supposed to be checking the
you
cars.
notice when he does his interview.
Reali,
he's
don't get
always
anyone
laughing and
hurt.
smiling.
Yes.
That's
All right.
not good.
So I think we're at a case where we got to actually have you go back to work. But I love what you're doing out here. The mayor and the hat, the bowler hat.
Thank you so much.
And you're really
God bless
breath
you.
of fresh air. God bless you.
You need anything? Help me. Let me know.
You want to run some full court with my man over here?
Ooh, Tony asked him if he wants Kevin Durant.
Do you want Kevin Durant?
I'd rather have Kelly Ware. I'd rather have him because he's younger. But
that's a hot take.
I mean, who needs a 15-time All-Star, right? Okay, yeah. Good to be you, Ronald. You can just sneeze off 15-time All-Stars in your life. You are. I'm happy about this. Watch yourself. What is up? Mini Cooper.
Check that car.
Reali, be careful. Reali, be careful out there.
Yeah.
Please, there are liability
we're
issues.
not going to get anybody hit today.
Okay.
We're not going to get anybody hit.
All right. You keep gathering Panthers fever. We'll check in with you in a little bit. Okay. Thank you. Right. You keep finding Panthers fever all over the city. You looked all over the city and you found the guy in the carport who just greets us every morning, Big Mac, who we've been trying to build a segment around for about a month. And, Billy, I'm going to email it to you because you tried to get the good Chris Greer stuff out of him. That guy, every day we come into work, he lights every member of this show up with his Chris Greer opinions. And they're poisonous, and he wants him gone.
Tired of looking at him.
Always smiling, he says, in the press conferences. Big joke of this Chris Greer, according to Big Mac.
Mike wants Kevin Durant. Does Zaz want Kevin Durant? Because Kevin Durant and Bam, if you can get him for picks, which I think is what Phoenix wants. It's
and
what
maybe
they wanted
Russell Westbrook, too.
A couple of months ago.
Wow. That would be exciting.
He established the zig. Does Kevin Durant want me?
I didn't see the Westbrook coming. I really didn't.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he opted out. He's there. Yeah. He's there for the taking. Imagine a reunion down here in Miami.
Zaz, how do you feel about that?
I mean, why don't you get Ibaka also?
Why not?
Anybody else?
Bring Scotty Brooks on staff.
Anybody else? Perk can play in a suit.
Get Perk.
Perk can be your center.
It's getting to the point that I feel like I'm being set up again to have my heart broken by Kevin Durant. I don't even know if he wants me. Does he want me?
You're not going to answer my question until he tells you?
Yeah, does he want me?
He's going to break your heart with San Antonio. When you're taking your shirt off and using your body as comedy, you're going...
That's Florida, bro.
You're going maximum Florida, man.
That's Florida.
When did you decide to start doing that? When was it encouraged? When did that become your signature? The idea that you're up there just throwing your body at the people here in a tight pair of jeans shirtless?
The jeans have gotten tighter the fat I've gotten. They weren't always tight. My daughter said Baby Walrus needs to move out of skinny jeans. I started doing it just to cheer myself up because you get on the road and do like a Thursday night and you'd be like, I got a whole weekend ahead of me. This is going to be a long weekend. I'm missing my family. It's not sold out. So I would rip my shirt off and kill a beer to make myself giggle because I thought it was silly and to remind myself this should be fun. And then one night I was in Columbus, Ohio. I ripped my shirt off and killed a beer. And then something happened in the room and I forgot to put it back on. And one of the comics I respected was in the back, and he was like, bro, you just did a whole hour with your shirt off.
And how does this work with comfort with your body? Because not everyone can do that. You're the first to be doing that. Not everyone is comfortable enough with their size to be in front of thousands of people shirtless like that because it is funny.
It's interesting because I have this reverse body dysmorphia. So, like... I heard a story, secret time. Obviously, I'll tell you, but secret time. I heard a story that Chris Pratt was a fat kid growing up and that someone told me like he'll always be fat in his head. No matter how great of shape he is, he'll always think of himself as a fat kid. I was in shape as a kid, and so I do not see myself fat at all. As a matter of fact, I think in Razzle Dazzle, I look low-key jacked. I think I look better than I've ever looked. My shoulders, dude, look at my shoulders.
You are jacked. Oh, yeah. You got some cuts right there. You see it there?
I mean, I'm feeling good. I feel great about my body.
The new Netflix stand-up special, Razzle Dazzle.
Oh, look at that. Look at Bert, stop making those
Never show your
faces.
belly button.
Do that thing where you're,
Let's increase your female viewers.
make your boobs move.
This is a body you can get.
Razzle Dazzle is the stand-up special. How old would you have to be? What is the age if I came up to you and said, Bert, you're not going to believe this, but the new movie, Machine, it's in theaters in May, and Razzle Dazzle, a Netflix special, is happening. At what point in your career, at what age would you have said, yeah, that's a possible dream?
Oh, 50? Where I am. I didn't think any of that was going to happen. Listen, I got to be dead honest with you. I shot Razzle Dazzle in November, and I'm used to the Netflix specials, but with the Machine movie, that was sitting on a shelf. They weren't doing anything with it, and they weren't going to release it. And it wasn't until I leaked it on Rogan that it got life. And so ever since it's got life, now it's got real life, and so I didn't think the movie was ever going to come out.
Dan, Bert's got me feeling confident. You know what? I'm going to join you, Bert, taking the shirt off.
Wow.
I love it. I love it.
Well, I'm going to have to do it, too.
I, too, was ripped when I was younger, Bert.
I have to do it.
Let's all be. Come on, bros.
Oh, man.
I don't really want to do
Round the
this,
horn.
but-
Dude, you're looking good.
The Mano Lantern.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, my
Dan's
God.
doing it too. Dano!
20 years.
This is
Take the
uncomfortable.
top off.
Oh, jeez.
All right. You are allowing us to be more comfortable with our physical
Okay.
appearances.
I have to take off my nipple stickers.
He's a pioneer and an icon.
Oh, look at Dan.
Mr. Nipple. Right there.
Perfect.
Do this
Sorry,
to
and this shirt,
everybody.
I don't know. It's like a
Cold
routine.
in here.
Yeah,
It's
it
reverse
is
body
cold in
dysmorphia.
here.
Only
Yeah.
actual. It's a reverse
It's a
body
really
dysmorphia
weird
thing.
time for Jessica to come back
Yeah, I
into the
was
room.
like, Jessica,
Perfectly
do not
haired
walk in
gentleman.
here.
Hey, Jess.
You like it, Bert?
Get out.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Why
So
are you
you.
massaging?
Andrew Luck making an appearance there. Bert, I do want to know when you were partying, the top partier at the #1 party school in the country. What did that look like?
You're looking at
Marijuana in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Around 4. Simpsons, fried chicken, and a lot of cocktails up until about 2 a.m. Then back to my place. Goat Campbell around 3 a.m. Joint set on the Seminole Head.
I love you.
And not a lot of sex, just dudes.
The best 6.5 years of your life, Bert.
How much public nudity was there?
An aggressive amount. This is back before that was considered assault.
You can't do that. You shouldn't be. Publicly nude is probably a bad idea, but this was a different time.
I'm feeling assaulted right now in this room.
I took a dump on a pizza box to win an election. Like I was totally naked. Like this is back when that was called provoking.
That is a great sentence. I took a dump on a pizza box to win an election.
By a landslide. I won by a landslide.
I mean, that was Trump's platform.
What can you tell me about being moved performing in front of so many people? Because the crowds now where you gather are enormous. They surprise me even as funny as you are.
I'm telling you, I had a real moment in Boston. I had a real moment in Tampa at Emily, but I had a real moment in Boston when I walked in, and there's this old guy that's been working at the Garden forever, and I walk into my underwear, and he goes, "You sold it to the ceiling, kid. You sold it to the ceiling." And then I got a standing ovation, and I started crying. I was like, boom! It caught me off guard. Same thing happened in Tampa. Same thing happened in Orlando. I never expected any of this, man. At 44, I was fired from Travel Channel. My wife wanted to get a vasectomy. We were tearing down our house to rebuild it. I was nowhere. I got kicked off Funny or Die tour. I was making $2,000 a week on Funny or Die. Tom was making $20,000 a night, and I was like, that's my life. I got to accept it.
Talking Sunset Gears with comedian Rob Delaney.
I really am thrilled to be doing this, Rob, because I admire your work a great deal, and it's rare that I find somebody from afar that I've been wanting to talk to because their story seems somehow something even more admirable to me. Now, you might not view it this way. I don't know how much nobility you think.
This episode is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
That presented tripped you up there. It was right there for you.
I just got off a goddamn plane.
You tell them.
No need to curse at me.
I'm sorry, I'm
because
tired, man.
You've mentioned that. You've mentioned that you're tired a couple of times now. Sorry that the hockey run of your life has been real hard on you.
He's obsessed with the plane.
But, I mean, he's complaining the whole time about how tired he is, and it's the time of his life. Like, it's the greatest thing is happening all around him, but he's like, all he has to say about it in commentary is, I'm tired.
Also, like, the company could just tell you no. Like, you didn't have to go on this trip. You could also not go to a Game 7 if the flight is so bad.
Oh, yeah? Watch me.
This is the thing. Yes. See, this is the thing. He would not miss this for his life, and this is he just likes to complain. He wants to complain. He's at the height of joy. This is what it looks like. This is Joy Roy. It's different than reality.
He said it's a happy tired. That's what he is. We all understand
Well,
that.
but
I can relate.
but the point is he's happy, tired, and also, if I get my beloved Game 7, if the company didn't send him to Edmonton, he'd throw a temper tantrum and protest in the streets.
Yeah, I'll be marching.
Chris Chris Cody took today off to recover from Roy's flight.
Huh.
Chris Cody is a phony baloney. What do you, Billy, what are you shrugging your shoulders
random days
about?
off. I mean,
We're just trying to figure out, why Roy is in this position of being tired driving the show. Because it's not even on the calendar like a taken day off. It's just not in today.
Yeah, just didn't show up for work.
Well, it wasn't scheduled. It's just, I don't know.
Okay.
Maintenance day for Chris. Got to keep him fresh.
It is because this run, Stugotz, the last 5 years, I think this show has been battered by what the playoffs in basketball and hockey have been. And this amazing team locally that overcomes all the things is on the precipice, one game away, from turning Brad Marchand into what, locally and nationally, ever as a trade deadline acquisition icon for all time, Stugotz, because there's just, I don't have the historical context in our city to have ever seen, like I know the Marlins traded for Jeff Conine and Darren Dalton, but it's never been this. Yeah, they got Uga Thurbina. They got
Y'all remember Uga Urbina differently than I am.
Yeah.
He was giving me a heart attack every time he was on the mound in the playoffs.
But he was a step up from Braden Looper. Braden Looper was the
Doesn't
worst.
mean he was good.
Except that game. That game that Braden Looper had, the Alex Gonzalez home run game where Braden Looper was going up against, I think it was Jeff Weaver, and no one in the stands felt comfortable about their team's position at all. It was Jeff Weaver versus Braden Looper. The momentum of the World Series in balance.
Okay, so Billy is not
Sometimes
wrong.
the series comes down
Yankee
to that.
Stadium in the backdrop.
Well, no, it was here, and it was historically supposed to be that fraud Roger Clemens' last game.
Oh, God.
His first last game, which started out with such promise. Yes. Then there was the Miguel Cabrera opposite field home run. It was like, wow, this is going to be an all-time classic. And then it's going to be decided by Braden Looper versus Jeff Weaver, and it was ended by some random defensive shortstop who got lucky and hit it just in that spot between the foul pole and where the wall before it started going up and was like twice the size as that one little spot in the corner. Baseball.
Stugotz, that right there is as much, that moment that Billy speaks of is as much, I believe, as he's ever cared about sports, at least in part because it represents such delicious anarchy that Braden Looper would shut down the mighty Yankees of Roger Clemens because he got out of a bases-loaded jam that none of us thought he would get out of.
I've got a really good one. This guy shot lights out in the bubble for Miami. I think it's a pretty good comp for Brad Marchand. Now, Brad Marchand has a much bigger name, but in terms of role for the team, very similar. Jay Crowder.
Yes, Jay Crowder was
incredible in the bubble.
It became the Jay Crowder trade.
Yeah, he was a huge part, a starting player on a team that made it to the finals.
Yeah. But people will laugh at you when you say Jay Crowder because it's Jay Crowder. I'm saying because of the nature of the goal scoring, you're underselling emotionally what's presently happening in this sport. Whether you want to dilute it or not, with he plays on a great line.
Oh, I understand the goal scoring. That's why everyone thinks that he's the best player on that line because he's the one scoring the goals when he's partnered with two incredible players that are on almost any other team.
I know, but
would be like first or second liners.
To Dan's point, he's been the best player on this team, on a team that won a Stanley Cup a year ago.
I won't say that.
He scored all the biggest goals.
But that's not, he's got. This is what's funny.
He's not, the leading goal scorer in the playoffs is Sam Bennett.
Give him some credit.
Can we find the spot, please? Between too much credit and not enough on I believe we're witnessing something that's going to echo for generations, okay? So we can get to the arguments about how much credit or not credit or best player or not best player. Right now, the story of this series is that McDavid doesn't have enough for a 37-year-old Brad Marchand. Yes, of course, Brad Marchand has an army of soldiers behind him. Yes, this team is overwhelming. They're the defending champions for a reason. McDavid doesn't look that way because McDavid stinks. McDavid looks that way because that's what the Panthers do to people, flogging them to death with depth. Like I don't believe Edmonton's getting enough credit for the 2 games they've won in this series, for the way that I'm not kidding you, coming back, this Edmonton team has been worthy of dethroning a champion. And now you need McDavid to do what you need superstars to do when you expect them to beat the best. But the problem is team sport, man. Team sport makes it so that Marchand can hold up the trophy and the Conn Smythe and everything that matters and be the 9th best player on the team while scoring a bunch of goals.
We are not letting this guy get the Conn Smythe, okay? Presently, Sam Bennett is minus 230 to lift this thing over his head.
Right.
And honestly, it bothers me. Sam's been great. Sam Bennett has been
so
phenomenal.
good.
He's been phenomenal. You can make if he
Huge
gets that,
goal game
he's
5.
named the best, most outstanding player in the entire playoffs, and it would be deserved. I don't understand what's happening with Sergei Bobrovsky in this conversation. Not counting my chickens, but he's had his most stellar postseason run. He has been good damn near every game. This is the best he's playing as a Florida Panther. Usually when the goalie plays this well, they are not plus 1,000 to win the Conn Smythe.
You know what it is, I think, with him? And you're right. He has been great, Bobrovsky. But here's the thing. When you look statistically, Game 1, he gave up 5 goals. Game 4, he gave up 5 goals. And it's like, you look at his overall stats and you look at the save percentage, and it's not as high as what you would think a goalie who's going to win the Conn Smythe, what those percentages and as low as the goals against would be. We know from watching he's been amazing. But statistically, there would be an argument against it.
Zaz, you are right. He gave up 5 goals in that Game 4, that heartbreaking loss at home. But that's the best game I've seen a goalie play, giving up 5 goals in my entire life.
He's been awesome. Every game he's been awesome.
Edmonton should have scored 10 that night.
It's really rare for a goalie to have this long odds playing this well consistently throughout the playoffs, because remember, it's a playoff-long award.
Right.
I don't know how we're here.
Well, Bob was not good at the start of the Toronto series. You got to take that into account, right?
But then he was lights out, and he was fantastic against Carolina. It's just rare. But Sam Bennett, the reason why Bob's got such long odds is because Sam Bennett's been the best player throughout the entire playoffs, and if he wins it, it would be deserved.
I will say I love what Marchand is doing. The reaction in the Zaslow Mansion family room with me and my boys does not get any louder or any greater than when Brad Marchand scores. We love him. That's my dog right there.
Yeah.
That's my dog. Brad Marchand. But I don't want him to win Conn Smythe.
What?
I don't.
Can I?
Dog then? I mean,
Because I want Sam Bennett to win, or Bobrovsky. I want one of our guys who have been here for years to win it. The Panthers have never had a Conn Smythe winner. Obviously, never ever. Even though they've won a Stanley Cup, they've never had a Conn Smythe winner. I want it to be one of our guys who have been here.
Dan, you were mentioning how historic this would be and how generations would be telling their children and grandchildren about this playoff run.
Like Braden Looper. Like you will tell people
Well, I
about
haven't told my
Braden
children
Looper.
yet. I'm waiting for the right moment to sit down. Of
course.
Maybe after we have the talk, then we'll have the Braden Looper talk. But we'll get there at some point in time. Now, Zaslow mentioned the Zaslow family room, and he also has mentioned how pricey the tickets are.
Whoa.
He had a situation where I think he won a bet and he got to go to a concert he wanted to go to. This could be a game for all time that him and his children could watch. Now, I'm wondering if maybe there's some sort of bet or maybe some sort of barter situation that can go on here where Zaslow can go. Maybe Zaslow goes, but then he's not back for the rest of that's it. That's his time on the show. Would he exchange that for going to the game? Or if there's a bet or something we can do?
I think Billy is on to something here. I'd like to make it 2 tickets so Zaslow has to choose a child.
Oh,
okay. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes.
We're doing Sophie's Choice for Game 6?
That's a good game.
Yes.
Who do you love more?
That's terrible.
What do you mean?
Why are you looking at me like that? Like you actually want me to say who I love more?
No, I just want a bet that proves it.
Yeah. Or how about this? If it goes to a Game 7, you fly Zaslow and his children to see Game 7.
Just one.
Yeah, not Roy, though. Roy, I'm sorry for the sake of this prank.
I have no interest in going to Game 7 if it
What?
would get there.
What?
None.
Why?
I hate the idea of being, even for any of these other games, I hate the idea of being in Edmonton for this game because it's literally me sitting there with 20,000 people around me rooting for me to be miserable. I hate that whole concept.
The Oilers fans are quite nice, and you get to
It's
watch
not about
history.
them not being nice. It's about when they're happy, I'm miserable. I don't like the concept.
Understood. That'd be a kidney punch, I guess. But being in the building when that thing comes out and a team gets to hoist it over its head, it's just a special feeling. We had lost 3 consecutive games. That barn was haunted when I walked in there for Game 7, and I was fine with the decision that I made because either I see my team lift its first Stanley Cup or I get to see the game's greatest player etch his name in an all-time great conversation with the greatest comeback in the
You would have been
history of
saying that
sports.
to yourself if they were marching it out there last night to give to Edmonton. At least I'm here to watch history.
The way that I rationalize the price, and those tickets were twice as much as what I paid to get into the barn for Game 6 tomorrow.
You're going to keep doing that barn thing.
Yep.
It's a hockey thing, man. You're wrong. I'm not crazy. You're crazy. So when that situation presented itself last year, I was like, if I'm ever at a hockey cocktail party, I got a pretty cool story. I was there for when McDavid capped off the comeback in Game 7.
That don't fly for me.
Well, let's see if we can find these stakes and find a way before these games are played. These are giant staked games, and I do think, Stugotz, that we get the wonder and majesty of knowing, right? Because we can all look at each other and know today as we talk in South Florida, hey, this is an all-time team the Panthers have. And if they lose the next 2 games, that's not how history's going to do it. Like, we can all sit here right now, and Mike's doing chickens before they don't count your chickens and everything else. But no, right now we can say it. We know what this team is. It's one of the most excellent we've ever seen. Buzzsawed through the playoffs. Everyone knows the depth of this team. And I already took you through the litany of what they've done the last 3 years of taking out franchise blueprints.
This would be an all-time team, right? If they finish this off. When you're up 3-2, you have to finish it off.
No, but my point is, it is an all-time team. I know it right now as we speak.
No.
If they Stugotz, if they lose 2 5-4 overtime games the next couple of days, it will make them no less good to me. I know how good this team is. You do not need to prove to me, Panthers, that in these next 2 games you have some sort of resiliency I don't believe you to have. No, I know you have it. You may lose the 2 games because hockey happens, but I know what I'm watching here. It's excellence of the highest order.
I understand that, but the way you have people talking about you for the remainder of time is by winning back-to-back Stanley Cups. That's how you do it. That's the way you do it. They would be up there with the 72 undefeated Dolphins. They'd be up there with those Heat teams with LeBron and Wade. They would be up there with the Hurricane team. They won back-to-back Stanley Cups. They need to finish this off. No one's talking about 50 years from now a team that won 1 cup.
Okay,
No one.
And you can do that argument in sports for the rest of the time. Fine. I'm just telling you that right now as we sit here, up 3-2, what the Panthers have is earned. The hockey world knows, oh, shit, they're a giant. They were a champion last year, and it was no fluke. Obvious to all, McDavid will really be doing something if he climbs over them.
Stugotz is right, though. They don't talk about individual one-time champions. When you lump in the greatest franchises to ever win the Stanley Cup, who are the greatest teams of all time, they invoke the Islanders, they invoke the Oilers.
Yes.
They may mention the Blackhawks, who didn't go back-to-back but had a crazy run there. Multiple championships get you in that conversation.
Red Wings, those are the teams too.
So let's think about these guys because Rasheed Wallace was traded at one point, and the Detroit Pistons produced what would be the biggest upset, save the one we're about to witness if the Pacers beat Oklahoma City. That Pistons team beat Shaq and Kobe, and Rasheed Wallace is remembered for all time as an all-time linchpin.
That team needed Rasheed Wallace to win the NBA championship.
Right. I want to talk a bit about the transactions from sports yesterday they don't rise to the level of blockbuster only because we've gotten spoiled by when legends like Durant are moving. But there were a couple of trades this weekend that, while not blockbusters, are getting swallowed by the fact that you have a champion in town and you have Marchand writing an all-time storyline with it. Because who's another trade day acquisition or trade deadline acquisition that you would put in this conversation of going to be remembered as an all-time acquisition?
Locally, it would be Marchand, especially since they win the championship.
Oh, no, locally it is Marchand.
Yeah.
I think the question is there anyone that's close to Marchand, right?
Yeah, locally, again,
no, I'm doing nationally.
National, Verlander in 2017.
That's a good one.
Would help the Astros. I think there are a couple of examples of guys that were really great. You can maybe make the argument CC Sabathia was the greatest deadline acquisition ever, really helped the Brewers.
Carlos Beltran.
They didn't win the
Great one, Beltran.
Sabathia didn't win the championship. Manny Ramirez, Florida was in those talks. When Manny Ramirez went to L.A., he was spectacular for them, but they didn't win.
So I want to examine these trades with you guys because I want to examine, in general, the trade with you guys. The acquisition of giant talents, but not necessarily star talents. Like what's been distorted over the last 15 years of can we get Giannis so that when Desmond Bain is traded or that Rafael Devers is traded, it's a big trade, but we've changed sort of how we consume these things. The baseball trade for, I'm going to say 40 years, was one of the most fun things that there was about baseball. It was what made it different from other sports in the offseason, hot stove league. Baseball kept itself in the news a million years ago the way football now keeps itself in the news because players could be traded pre-internet age. What happened yesterday to the Boston Red Sox, I know we don't talk a ton about baseball here, but for the Red Sox over the last 20 years to get to great and finally topple the Yankees and have something like Mookie Betts and then have the business of it. They signed Rafael Devers to one of those $300 million deals to try and make up for what they botched with an all-time player like Mookie Betts. You let go of him, it's like letting go of Babe Ruth. It's just terrible to let go of him. And now the business of Boston baseball sports comes for Devers, where he doesn't want to be their first baseman. He doesn't want to be in Boston anymore. And so yesterday, the Giants trade for the best left-handed bat they've had since Barry Bonds because he's a power hitter, and Boston is out of the business of like actually competing with the Yankees at the top of the sport because they're saying, never mind, the new ownership group is telling you who they are right off the top.
But baseball is such a weird sport. The Red Sox have won 5 straight. I think they're just 6 back of the Yankees in the AL East. Like, it's such a strange sport that even without their third baseman, who was a first baseman, who didn't want to play first base, they could still make it to the playoffs. They can. It's a weird sport. The Marlins did it.
Yeah, no, they could. But what I'm saying is Boston is signaling, right? The Yankees are playing for everything. Aaron Judge is the monster of the day. Boston's out of the game now. Like, maybe they won't be, okay, but they're signaling to you, nah, the Devers contract, it needs to get out of here, even though he's a 3-time All-Star. He doesn't want to be here. But again, I'm giving you the symbolism of this was the make good for bets, and now they're out of both of the businesses. You don't just grow these players.
Well, they got rid of him because he was a malcontent. Like, he was just not cooperating with management. He was refusing to play positions. Like, he and management were not on the same page, and it became apparent that they were just not going to resolve that situation. I know it sounds crazy, but, like, we're in a world of baseball where he's making 31 this year, 27 next year, 28 until, basically 2033. That's not that much in baseball right now when you have players making $60 million a year. So his contract isn't even terrible for what he is. He's just a situation where they just were not going to get on the same page as him.
You're right.
He was a malcontent, and they just shipped him off.
Yeah.
And it sucks for the fans. I mean, no one can feel what they're feeling more than us down here of, hey, look, your star player now is just traded to another team.
But let me ask you guys this question because I don't know how it would bleep with your head. everything started with Rafael Devers because management paid Bregman, right? Like that, they paid him and no one informed him. And so he went from star of the team to no one's telling him anything to, can you play first base? No, I don't want to play first base. And it's like, that's what happened, correct? And I ask you, a baseball player cares nothing more about it than being great at baseball. And you tell him, hey, you're star of the team. Look at all this money we're paying you. And here's this other guy. We're not going to inform you anything and move to first base. And like, was anybody going to ask me?
I mean, A-Rod played third.
Okay, but the respect of it, does it not mean anything? Like on just human terms, yes, go do what you're told, of course. But are you going to allow the humanity of that to actually reach you on some place that hurts?
It can go both ways, though, right? Like, there could be the respect thing with the player. You gave him this much money to do X. And then the other side of it is, well, we gave you this much money.
Right.
How about you have some respect for us? We would now like you to do X. Like, it goes both ways, right?
The funny thing with Bregman, too, is that he can opt out after this season. So they could potentially lose both of them. And then the Red Sox don't have really anything going on.
It does go both ways, Zaz, but I do understand how a player is so good at baseball that he becomes a 3-time All-Star and he gets a contract that's worth $300 million. And the team signals to him and everyone, your team, big guy, you're the future. Well, am I? Were you going to tell me that you guys already decided to move me positions? Yes, of course. Everyone's got a boss. Yes. But was anyone going to tell me, ask me, wonder, like, or wherever it is, wherever his hurt resides on, at what point do we get to a dollar figure that the person arrives at the own ego stature of, do you tell me what to do? Because I thought I was here of value to you because I was the third baseman and you want me to be happy and proud of what I do, right? In an emotional game where you're asking me to travel all over the country and stuff and everyone's tired like Roy because we're flying. You're asking me to be great at the top of the sport. You're paying me $300 million to be that. Don't I get personnel? Like, isn't this what we're fighting about all over the place when we talk about the power and the transaction in sports, Stugotz, where these guys want to be sort of in on what they get to do for a living, and the fan is like, no, just do your job. Get over there and designate hit. Just be the designated hitter. Go over there and just be a first baseman.
I mean, he's Rafael Devers. Is it Devers or Devers?
Well, that's not great.
Just keep going with Devers.
I mean,
all right. So do it as.
Should that guy have say over how the roster is built? The Red Sox are trying to make the team better, and he wants to ruin it because he doesn't like the position that he has to play, or because Red Sox management didn't consult him before the trade. Get out of here. You have a chance to get Bregman. Bregman's a good player. He plays third. You play first.
He's worse than Devers, though.
There's that.
Oh, yeah.
Slump. Devers.
Yeah.
I just wonder, like, how did the Red Sox – they must have thought that Devers was going to be okay with the conversation of, we would like you to change positions. Like, how did they not handle it so poorly, but what, like, they didn't know that this was
okay,
going to
so
go this way?
if we actually want to talk about this, because the two transactions,
like, they clearly misjudged it.
I thought were interesting. This happens all the time. Managing people is hard. It's a difficult thing. And Rafael Devers, I understand, Stugotz, how people who climb over other countries, other athletes in a fight over money, when they get to the $300 million, they're like, I'm the star, right? I win 3-time All-Star. Everyone knows that's hard, right? There are only a few All-Stars. I'm a 3-time All-Star. I'm the star of your team. You got me. Look, this stuff is tough, Stugotz. I don't know if you've seen what's happened with the Braves, but like, so Freddie Freeman's a first baseman, icon in the town, wins the World Series, historic moment, gets fired, fires his agent. Okay, please just let me get through this. You can get to your Freddie Freeman situation in a second.
Freddie Fraudman.
He's just talking about the teeth.
I'm talking about emotional connections to players and where it is that people, they get it wrong in terms of how people connect in a way that then everyone gets surprised when Luke is attached to a city. Brian Kinning did something great on this the other day. He's consistently great on baseball, and he was just talking about what the Braves did at first base, and they did something business smart. They got Matt Olson. He plays every day. He's just about as good as Freddie Freeman. He's amazing. Only problem is Freddie Freeman has been even better in Los Angeles, and he also plays every day, and no one expected Freddie Freeman to get even better because he was already as great as there was. So Matt Olson is something else at first base for the Braves than what was the soul of a champion team and something that was connected to community. Rafael Devers was a Boston Red Sox, and he was the make good on Mookie Betts. We traded him contract-wise. You made him the face of your team in a town where they still care about baseball like that, where they still care about baseball and where it connects. You really hurt them. It's something soulless. The transaction in Boston on a baseball team, you can't always be the one trading Ruth when you're the Red Sox and you've now beaten the Yankees. Like, the Boston crapped out on the game yesterday in public, and Red Sox fans, I would understand why they would be mad at Devers for not behaving and also mad at their franchise because it's like, oh, we're going cheap now. No? Isn't that what happened? Do I have it wrong? Because Zaz is asking me a good question. Where did the communication break down? I'm sure they've reported this in Boston. And I'd wonder where the communication breaks down on someone like Rafael Devers, who doesn't necessarily have a history of loyalty to Boston as a market, isn't connected there the way Mookie Betts was, the way Freddie Freeman was. So it doesn't want to be there. Is unhappy in Boston because be the malcontent in Boston, see how that goes for you. Be the guy who won't play first base for the team and see how nice people are in restaurants in Boston.
You're Carl Everett is what ends up happening there.
No, your life away from Fenway's terrible, and your life there's not great either, especially when you start the season the way he did, just striking out all the time.
Well, he's going to San Francisco. That's a pretty good spot, and they need him.
Well, they haven't had a left-handed bat since Bonds. They don't have anyone who hits home runs like that.
We're also just assuming here with the way that we're saying this that they're not going to spend that money on someone else, which we don't know. They got rid of him because he was a malcontent, and he was just refusing to play in the field after they made him a DH.
They're 10th in payroll this year.
So, Stugotz, the thing that I wanted to sort of marvel at with you, though, when it comes to the trade and the transaction and how we care about it. Now, at any other time in my lifetime, the idea that Shohei Ohtani is pitching tonight.
About time.
Yeah, but okay.
Snuck up on us,
okay.
huh?
Yes, it's about time.
Yep.
I'd like to enjoy the excellence of this for a moment before you berate it, okay?
Sure.
Just give me a second.
Yeah. Enjoy away, Dan. Yeah.
Enjoy it now before he blows it on the mounds.
Ohtani
Just give me an inning.
Okay. Ohtani is pitching tonight. And what I read recently about him. And
I'm reading now he's only throwing an inning. Jesus.
Oh, God, he's an opener?
It's not really pitching.
Expensive opener for Dodgers, huh?
Anyway,
$700 million guy pitches an inning? Oof.
Feel good.
Jeez. Go on, Dan.
The feel good. Thank you,
7 1/3.
Billy. I appreciate the permission.
A little quality start, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What would Nolan Ryan say?
Little QS.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
A little QS.
I mean, something.
It is. It is. It is. We've gotten to the point where that's a baseball thing. Somebody gives you a little QS. You value that.
Why even send him out for an inning? You're just going to get him hurt, potentially.
An inning is Real Cormier.
He's not lying, Dan.
Better be 9 pitches, I'll tell you that much.
So Ohtani is pitching tonight, and I did read the other day. It made me laugh out loud that Ohtani broke a big drought with 2 home runs. His drought had been 10 games. He hadn't gone 10 games without hitting a home run. A giant drought for Ohtani, and also he's pitching tonight. But the thing that I wanted to frame this against is
sort of
Ohtani is pitching tonight, and Aaron Judge and
bullpen session, live game action.
Okay, so Ohtani is going to go out there and stand on the mound and do something that resembles pitching briefly.
Little rehab start.
Which makes him one of the most majestic athletes of all time. Which makes him one of the most majestic athletes of all time, being able to do both of those things. And I believe the audience wants more on Devers and Desmond Bain.
Do you really?
Yes. Yes.
I'm chomping at the bit for Desmond Bain talk.
I believe the new going rate of 3-4 first-round picks for Desmond Bain, and us saying, well, that's better than Bridges went for 5 picks or Gobert went for 5
they
picks.
They got a deal.
And the thing that Orlando needs is exactly what he does. It's just like the one thing, catch and shoot, can you make threes? Orlando's terrible at that, and Orlando knows they're close. Like, And Orlando absolutely knows they're not that they could beat the Knicks, that they could beat Detroit, that they could be at the top of the East. So Orlando suddenly is playing for right now with its draft picks. And I think that one caught us off guard because I think the next step on this, as we all assume, is Ja now available in Memphis? Are they going to start shutting that down in a way that starts rebuilding so that everyone's doing it OKC's way, where you now can get 50 picks and do whatever it is Ainge was doing in Utah and he tried to do in Boston, because the going rate for somebody like Desmond Bane, who's never been an all-star, is 4 first-round picks.
I think that's the most fascinating part about this. And, yeah, so the Grizzlies have already come out and said Ja's not on the table. We'll see if that proves to be true. But I think this is a fascinating move in that, as you mentioned, Dan, he brings them exactly what they need: a consistent outside shooter, over 40% from 3, a 3-and-D guy who also slashes when they have guys that draw double teams and they don't really have guys that cut to the basket all that much. For me, it's what's the tipping point? We think the Bridges move helped New York, but 5 picks is too many. Is 4 the right number? Is 4 the right number for a team like Orlando that had some pieces maybe to get a superstar, but are they really in that game? Did they have to keep their powder dry, or is this the exact moment that they seize? And says the East right there is so weird, it might be for the taking, and this might be the perfect move for Orlando.
Yeah, so the first thing is, I think it was really more like 3 first-round picks that they gave up for Bane, because it kind of feels like
and a swap, right?
Well, yeah, because Caldwell Pope's contract sucks, and so it was kind of like, hey, well, take his contract, we'll give you a first-round pick to sweeten it. So it really feels like it was 3 first-round picks for Bane, and when you think of it like that, it's like, all right, it's not that much, but I think Mike is right overall, where I think it's just as much about being able to get a player that you really like in Desmond Bane and watching what's going on in the Eastern Conference. Wow, Boston, you're screwed. Milwaukee, you're screwed. Let's get in the mix here. I think it's a great move from Orlando for that perspective, for a franchise that never does anything. It's like, yeah, let's go for it.
I think it's mostly about the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
I do, because you have a 50-win team in the Pacers playing for an NBA championship right now, and I think Orlando had 42 wins this past season. They're good and young.
Don't underestimate how good Orlando and Detroit are. It's just surprising to see an irrelevant franchise, except for that one couple of years with Stan Van Gundy and the one couple of years with Shaq and Anthony Hardaway. This team has existed for 40 years without getting it's gotten to 2 finals.
Yeah.
And never won anything. And this is the best young team they've had in a while. Wagner and Banchero are excellent players. They had some injuries at unfortunate times, so they could have taken out Boston this year. Boston will acknowledge that team's youth and length and perimeter defense is a problem. And the one thing they didn't have is the thing that Bane does better than anyone in the sport. He's third best in the sport. It's catch and shoot threes, catch and shoot threes, catch and shoot threes. They're terrible at both. They're historically bad at threes, and they're historically bad at catch and shoot threes.
But this also really, I think the second part of the story here is this trade happened during the NBA Finals. This is clearly the start of what's going to be a crazy transactional period.
Keep that energy for this conversation, because Tony Reali has buzzed in from the basketball court that is in the building. The basketball court, we have not explored any of these spaces. Tony is playing with a fan of the show who does – oh, my God, that was a tremendous brick. Earlier in the show, I just went into the video room. I was told that Reali and Big Mac had a terrible dap at the start of saying hello that the video team did not capture. Reali, did you remember the dap with Mac? Because unfortunately we couldn't find it.
I caught him on the forearm like we were medieval soldiers checking each other for a sword. Right. When you really go up high on there. So that's where I was. So this is absurd what just happened. John can hoop. He played in junior college, all right? He's a basketball coach at Butler High School in Pennsylvania. But we had somebody matched up to play against him one-on-one. It was Jordan Hawkins of the New Orleans Pelicans. 10 points per game this season for the New Orleans Pelicans. National champion.
Where is
UConn.
is he there?
Reese's cousin.
Is he just working out?
He was here. He's working out, yeah. So he was going to work out outside, but I recognized him and I saw him and he gave me he's like Kick Butowski, season 2, episode 37. I'm like, yep, man, you got me. So we almost had 10 points per game in the NBA versus John. But John's game, is solid. He played JUCO. He coaches at Butler in Pennsylvania right now. And, this is all about positivity.
You mentioned all of this before. I don't know why we're recapping this now.
Well, it's just a recap. This is called TV. I know you guys are doing something else. So what I'm going to do in the guise of spreading positivity, I'm going to sacrifice myself now because John is about 6'6". So I'm going to allow myself to be Frederick Weist at this moment, I think. So let's just see.
You're going to play against him,
cool?
but you're going to do this while carrying a microphone. Now, I have to tell the people, as I've told them before, you used to be unreasonably competitive, scream at referees, etc.
Yes, so, you know this about me. So, John, once again, here's John from Pittsburgh, the Poppy shirt. All right, one night and one night only in Miami, and now he's rocking it with the Poppy shirt. His wife is packing for their trip, and this is what he's doing.
That's good. This is a good moment for him.
Maybe we're not spreading positivity. All right, so this rib right here, I may not be 10, but we're going to be going with it. Let's see what your game is for a second, and let's see if I can get a ball, too. So he started out with some mic and drills, and now we got the baseline jumper. But what really I want here,
the mic and drills.
I'm all about sacrificing myself here for a viral clip that can live on the internet forever. So John's going to dunk on me, and I'm going to eat it. All right? So let's put this down for a second.
Okay, so that should be slightly less rehearsed than that. I thought maybe perhaps you guys would just do that instead of saying you're going to do that. There are probably liability issues here, and the video's not great in the gym. So that's
Angel
too
Reese's
bad.
cousin was there to witness it, though.
Yeah.
That's
really
too bad.
unfortunate.
How do you recognize him?
That's too bad. We were right there to a strong moment, and then the video cut out because we're in the bowels of the gym somewhere.
I heard it. I think it happened.
Yes, I don't know. We did hear it, so maybe we can get a recap of what we didn't see from an incredibly
Right here. We're going to get a recap from this angle.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not picking it up. That's right.
Buffering.
Yeah, we'll come back to you, Reali, in a little bit. We were proud of ourselves for executing it
Looked like a
correctly
Windows
one
97
time.
screensaver.
We decided to go right back to it, and it was too early for that. There was a fan at the game, the last Panther game, that removed his Edmonton
I hate
jersey
this fan.
quickly. And then to reveal a Panther jersey underneath.
Was that a plant?
This person has gone viral, and this would make Panther fans mad, I would assume.
Hate him.
That guy came to that guy came to the arena with both jerseys, and that he could do that to Edmonton fans when they're down 4-1 and their team needs them, and this guy's a phony.
Just what are the chances that the shot is perfectly framed for this dude that's standing, who's not being emotional in the moment, he's just chilling, and they know to cut right to this guy, and at that exact moment he takes off his sweater? It could have been a natural moment, but I'm a little suspicious.
Mike, you mentioned something about keeping the powder dry. I don't know what that expression is. Like, I don't know where it comes from, and I don't know what it even means to keep. I guess I sort of know that to keep your powder. Go ahead, Stugotz. I'm sorry.
Cocaine.
I don't think it's cocaine.
It's not.
I don't know what it means to keep your powder dry.
Back in the day, it was harder to load up weapons. It wasn't these automatic weapons of today. You had to realize, do I use this shot and then take the allotted time? I might be running
So
low
that's
on
a
powder.
reference from using a musket and like a bayonet and keeping powder dry before you shoot?
Yeah, you save it for a more judicious time.
Okay.
Yeah, more difficult time. Like, all right, we can take this this little guy out, but what's coming our way?
I didn't know that was gunpowder that we were talking about. Did you guys know that was gunpowder?
I haven't looked it up, but I'm fairly certain this is what it is. It's muskets. Yes,
I thought it was
nailed
cocaine. I mean, my friends told me that.
It sounds good. How are we doing with Reali? Because Reali, I'm being alerted that Reali wants to get back in here, and I don't want to get back in here if we're not going to get dunked upon. So, all right. So we will come back in moments here and get all of Mike Ryan's Desmond Bain thoughts that I know you're eager for.
Well, that's very kind of you to say. Thank you, and thank you for acknowledging that I am late in my life. There's a refreshing honesty to that. I am 45, so I'm well more than halfway.
45 is late in life.
I mean, I do think about it though sometimes. Though, like I'm definitely more than halfway done, and that's funny. Isn't that funny?
How does
But
it
yeah.
feel to be told that you're late in life by someone who is considerably older than you?
Who's a great deal older than me? It's strange. I wonder, does he know things about, does he have access to my medical file? Has he seen things that I haven't seen?
I just feel like I feel through your art like you've lived more than I have. It's really what I'm doing there, in the having of 4 kids, in the choosing work-life balance, in learning life's lesson. I just think that I was atrophied as a as a young person.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the things that that I've experienced that maybe most people haven't are, you know, I did get sober 20 years ago after going to jail after a car accident that I was responsible for, and I've stayed sober, so that's been pretty cool. I've had the unbelievable good fortune to make a living in comedy, and of course I didn't for a long time before I did, so that was challenging. And then, but the biggest thing would be that my wife and I, one of our sons got cancer and passed away a few years ago. So those are the big things that I've been through that I think, you know, are place me in sort of a strange minority. I think I covered it all.
Well, life-altering things,
Yeah.
right? Because arriving at comedy success must have been the realization of your dreams, right? You came from your comedy story. There aren't a lot of people who had comedy success the way you did, just sort of discovered by social media. I can say that, right?
Oh, sure, yeah. It came at an interesting time because I was trying very hard to get hired by, say, Jimmy Kimmel, Conan O'Brien, you know, writing jokes by the stack, by the physical paper stack, you know, because I'm submitting 2-liner jokes, you know, by the pound to try to get hired as a late night writer. So then Twitter comes along and I've got piles of jokes that no one will pay me for, no one wants. And I mean, I send them to people and they're like, no thanks, you know, or these are great, but still no thanks. And so I had a place to focus this stuff. So it was sort of a right place, right time kind of a thing. So myself and, you know, many other people around the same time figured, oh, you know, Twitter's not just for posting, you know, recipes and, you know, things like that. It can also be for jokes. And so I really lucked out that came along at the right time for me.
Vision or happenstance?
Happenstance, purely.
So you don't have success in comedy? If not for that, you're just another rejected writer writing stacks of jokes that doesn't get an avenue towards success?
Oh, you never know. I mean, I have a work ethic that I can at least say about myself. So, and I'm nice. You know, I think that might be part of being sober and having success come a little later in life. But I still am as nice as possible. So people will rehire me after they work with me. So maybe I would have had success through both my 2-pronged approach of working hard and being nice. Because that goes pretty far, you learn, after some time passes, some decades pass, and people start to evaporate. Or you get the job of somebody who, talent-wise, absolutely deserves it more, but maybe they're a jerk, you know, or they just forget to set their alarm, and then you get their job, and then, you know, screw them.
Your kindness is displayed in this segment where a 53-year-old man dressed like he's going to the Vans Warped Tour called you old.
Precisely.
He just said success later in life, and I let him slide on it. He just got done saying success later in life, and I'm like, so you acknowledge you are later than in life.
It's sunset for me.
I meant it.
I think you finesse that answer out of him.
I meant it as awkward admiration for this man has lived and learned and put down. I just see in your work that you've put down your ego, and it's beautiful to see art flourish there.
I don't know what that means, what you just said, that I put down my ego. I genuinely, can you elaborate?
I think that you are only choosing projects right now, that you have a unique freedom in comedy where you can choose projects now because Catastrophe was such a unique success. That your life story is intertwined in it. You're learning about yourself as you're telling the story. It is unfathomable, the range you show in it as someone who is producing the whole thing with a partner, but it's you guys making a hit television show cheaply that is smart and funny and layered, and you made it, and from there you can make all the choices in life. And you've lived and learned enough to know that you have to choose wisely there because you want to be with your kids and you want to have life balance, and professional ego has gotten you in trouble.
Gotcha, yeah. So yeah, one thing that I do now is like,
This episode is presented by Smirnoff. We do game days. Please drink responsibly. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York.
I should tell people, because I do know, Stugotz, that we've gotten to such rarefied air with the trades that Kevin Durant still in play with suitors is something that will garner a lot of attention beyond where we talk about Devers and Bain. Devers and Bain are players with a future. Kevin Durant is a player with a past. However, playing for a one-year contract and extension at his age, I know everyone has looked at what happened in Phoenix, and because we were even talking about the last embers of Steph and Jimmy and LeBron last year, Kevin Durant didn't even make the playoffs, and so people are doing something now to Kevin Durant that they ought not do, because Kevin Durant will be able to hit that jumper until he is 60. Kevin Durant still is a player, even at his age, 15-time All-Star. When you talk about 26 points a game, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 block, and this stat, over 40% from 3, over 50% from 2. That's just him and Jokic. Only 2 players in the league can do that, where it's like, I will give you efficient scoring still. You can say what you want about his age. You can say what you want about his defense. Don't tell me that somebody can't use that for a year.
Well, someone can use it for a year or 2 years, for that matter. He's a great scorer. No one has ever said otherwise. You have to factor in the age. He's 37 years old. What makes it strange is why a team, if he wants to win NBA championships, why the Heat would remain on the list. I understand the Rockets, the Spurs, that's the team I would choose. If you could take Wembanyama and go win him a title, that's going to change a lot of people's opinions about you moving forward. So I'm just confused as to why the Heat are so high on his list.
Durant would be telling you, I'm guessing, that that's previous flirtations with them. I've told you the story before of Eric Spoelstra explaining, Pat Riley explaining to Kevin Durant before he chose to go to Golden State. If you come here, we think Oklahoma City's been using you inefficiently. We think that you can, with some support, be better than you are right now. If we stretch the floor and get positionless basketball and have guys shooting threes, and Kevin Durant was like, great idea. I'll do that in Golden State. And that's where they lost him the first time. They've liked each other back and forth for a long time. He has respect for the organization, and whether you believe it or not, this would be Durant signaling to everyone that he knows it's toward the end of his career and he thinks he could win here. He thinks he could win here with Bam. That's what he's not signaling. I just want one last contract with the teams he's choosing, because he wanted to be on. New York wanted to be in the game for Durant, and Durant was like, or no, it went the other way there, didn't it?
No, they made an offer. The Shams reported that the Knicks made an offer to acquire Kevin Durant at the deadline. Also, would it be foolish to say that? I think we're all assuming, all right, it's this Heat roster, we trade picks for Kevin Durant, and we're done. That can't just be the plan. I think they're a little further away from just adding Kevin Durant and being seriously considered in the Eastern Conference.
One would assume there's a plan, would there not?
I mean, usually, I don't think it's just that. Miami needs to do something. We know what the ceiling is, and I don't think it's a sustainable business model to be like, let's get in as a 10 seed and fight our way through the play-in and get hot at the right time. I think that's proven to maybe be a mistake.
I think there's a few things here. Kevin Durant probably has a relationship with Eric Spoelstra for their time at Team USA. That stuff's important. Durant and Bam, from what I understand, they are close friends as well. There's that. And we don't know a ton about Kevin Durant personally. He's been in this league forever. And we don't know anything about him personally other than basketball is his whole life. And that person with that personality, that aligns with what the Miami Heat are about. So he probably looks at that and says, yeah, that works for me. And the fact that the Heat, Stugotz, aren't even in this, when you look at the other teams who are A, better right now, and B, have a ton more assets to offer, that to me signals Durant's first choice is the Heat. The fact that the Heat are even in the mix here, to me, must mean that his first choice is Miami.
Mark Stein reported this morning, by the way, that the Suns are not committed to necessarily sending him to one of those teams. So, they could consider it. That's nice. That's where you want to go. But if it doesn't make sense for us, you're not going there.
Well, this is where the Lillard thing was the crossroads on player empowerment, where the Ishbias of the world, guys, please go listen to what Pablo Torre finds out did on Ishbia and just do a little a little reading about what now runs the Phoenix Suns, how impetuous it is, how meddlesome in basketball matters it is, and how big a swing and a miss the whole Kevin Durant thing was in Phoenix, where they're now stuck with Bradley Beal as well.
Is there audio, or do I really need to read?
You can do both. There is audio on Pablo Torre Finds Out, though. He's not reading anything. That's a quick download on just the competition between him and Dan Gilbert in the mortgage industry and in basketball. But Ishbia's rich guy toy, embarrassed, came out, did the Stevie Cohen thing of don't care about taxes or whether I'm going to make any friends here. I'm here to win. And there was no bigger calamity in the sport than that one last year, and that it happened to Kevin Durant's feet, probably not the way he wants to end his career. With the added disgrace of whatever was happening in the shadows there that he wasn't being informed of when 15-time All-Star, not unlike 3-time All-Star Devers or Devers.
Right. Tomato.
Billy, I've been remiss, and I'm sorry. Welcome back from vacation.
Thanks.
But I've been remiss because I've gone here for a couple of hours. Whenever you come back from vacation, you always come resplendent with sort of a bag full of vacation stories, observations from vacation. You had time to think. You weren't on the treadmill all the time. You went places. You discovered things. And so you usually come back with something. I haven't gone to you for 2 hours on any of your vacation meanderings.
You don't need to go to me. There's a lot of people in today. Tony Reali spreading positivity. Zaz is here. The Panthers are doing their thing. Breaking news moments ago. Darren Ravel puts out, after a year absence, Joey Chestnut will be back to Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest this year.
Wow.
I mean, things are happening in the world right now.
Joey Chestnut is back. Wow.
Who would have thought? We thought it was impossible. We thought we'd never see him again, Dan. After last year, he signed that deal with the vegan dogs or whatever it was, and they banned him from the competition. And then what happened? We all tuned in on July 4th, and we saw the hot dog eating contest. And honestly, it was kind of a joke, if we're going to be honest with you. They didn't come anywhere near Joey Chestnut's record. Joey Chestnut then did something on Netflix with Kobayashi that no one watched, and they said, you know what? We got to bring him back, Jack. And now, guess what? He's back. God bless America.
Well, but the last part that you said, did something on Netflix no one watched. That was where hot dog eating as a competition was about to soar into the sky with the brands, the individual brands of Joey Chestnut and Kobayashi, and then the whole sport fell apart because nobody wanted to watch unless it was on 4th of July.
No one watched either.
At a specific time. There's nothing else in sports going on. If you want to gorge yourself on hot dogs in the middle of the day, none of us are working, okay, but we don't want to watch this at any other time.
I think if I'm probably misremembering this, but I was watching the hot dog eating contest on the 4th of July, and it felt like they were like 10 short of the record or 20 short. Like, it wasn't even close to what Chestnut was doing. And then the Netflix thing happened against Kobayashi, and I think everyone just didn't know it was on or forgot. Like, it was a whole thing when the news came out. It was like, wow, this is huge. And then the day of, I remember looking for it. I'm like, is that today? And I couldn't find it. And then the next day, I was like, yeah, it was yesterday, but we didn't know what time. It was like on Labor Day or something. It was just like, no one cares about Labor Day. We're going to be honest, right? Daz, you care about Labor Day?
Haven't given it a lot of thought. Check back in a few minutes. I'll think about it.
4th of July. You care about the 4th of July?
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. I don't know how we got to, do you care about Labor Day, from me asking you about your vacation meanderings, but I am assuming we're going to get there at some point.
Well, I'm just, breaking news. We have to address the news as it comes out. Yeah, we can get to that.
I'm ready. I thought about it, by the way.
Yeah?
Big holiday?
You care?
Or not a big
holiday? Or not a big holiday. Which one?
Wait a minute. Hold on a minute.
Imaging?
Hold on a minute.
Imaging?
We don't have imaging for this yet.
We should.
Right now, he's a judge. He's a doctor.
Big holiday?
Not a
big
journalist with prejudice.
He's a journalist. Well, a doctor with prejudice?
No, you never want to be prejudicial when you're a doctor. Never.
So what are the job titles you now have along with producer for our little production here?
Judge, doctor, journalist.
I don't think it's ever dressed up. The imaging is provided by Zaz, with the suspense being whether something is
correct.
So what's the question again?
Labor Day, big holiday or not a big holiday?
Yeah.
Labor Day falls on a Monday.
Yep.
September.
Yeah.
Football season.
Please.
Not a big day.
Oh.
Not a big day. Not a big day.
You love that Monday off.
That's it. It's over.
But
You got Miami Notre Dame the night before.
We are labor.
There's no arguing.
Listen,
with
he's
guys.
saying you take the day off, enjoy your day, but it's not a big holiday.
Hold
That's
on
it.
a second.
That's it.
Hold on. I've been told that we now have video from Tony Reali. These are the remains of his career post ESPN. He was a Titan, 25 years entertaining people, and now he's in the parking garage wearing some sort of costume, entering the studio. Tony, we go live to Tony Reali now. What do you have?
Yes, Dan. Positivity is what I have, Dan. Feels like there's not enough positivity in this control room right now. You don't even respect Labor Day, all right? So what we're bringing in here is a bounce house, Dan. And we're going to get bouncy up in your space right now. Let's open up
what
this
is
door.
this?
Let's go around this
Okay,
board.
where is he
Yes.
going right now?
Right
Is this
in
a good
Dan's
idea?
face.
This
Bounce
seems like a
house.
bad idea.
I love a good bounce
This
house.
doesn't seem like a good idea. Okay.
Why do we own a
I'm
bounce
just going to
house?
put a bounce house. This is Reali's
We also
entrance
own one of
here.
those fighting guys I saw in storage.
Take
Some
take-
bit
take
with
some
Tony that we
sweat
never
positivity.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's nice to
MMA
see you.
practice.
I haven't seen you. Come over here.
Okay, this is the big entrance for Reali. Did the guy dunk on you, or did he not dunk on you?
He did dunk on me. We have video.
Okay, we will. Okay, all right. So you have your own private video because the video here didn't work.
Yeah. We made it work. All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
but that it
He
wasn't-
has the video. He's sending it to our video
All
team.
right, what are
is
you
he
doing?
said.
You're going to
They
plug
can't
it in
find an
right
outlet.
here.
What are
Yeah.
we doing here? A bouncy house, by definition, must bounce, Dan.
Okay, so you're just going to come in here and bouncy house it. That is positivity. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Does a bounce house make you feel more positive? Yes or no? Roy, why are you looking around as if you're not in control of your own show?
I'm not, because they couldn't find an electrical outlet out in the office. You had to go inside the studio to plug it up. What's going
I
on
think
here?
it's because Reali is actively trying to make a mess the way that Billy likes to make a mess of things. So he's brought him a bounce. Where'd you get a bounce?
Why do we have one? It's a bounce house. Yeah.
Well, I couldn't find any Panthers fans out in the street, but I could
Right.
have found a guy
Yeah.
who was giving me a bouncy house for rental.
True Miami experience.
$50 an hour.
Right.
So you bought a bounce house out
rented
there
it.
while
I won't return
you rented it while trying to find Panther fans out there and only finding Big Mac from the carport. Okay, this is very loud,
Who
right?
had no idea who Marchand was.
La Fran Marchand espectacular!
Man, what'd he say?
Okay, this is not respectful enough. This seems like something Tony Reali is doing because he's hopeful that the bounce house will press against me, and it doesn't work if it just inflates behind me. And
That one looks
becomes-
like it has like a rock wall on the back of it or something, a
okay,
slide.
we're
Yeah, that's a
moving
good
stuff.
one.
That's
it looks
good,
like.
helpful,
Yeah.
Stugotz. Thank
Oh,
you.
that's a water one, Dan. I'm looking at that. That is a water cannon on it. Yeah.
I don't know why,
That's a
Tony.
good one.
Did you just use Meadowlark expense account money to rent
That's
a
upside
bounce
down.
house? Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Don't break things.
That's.
Oh,
yeah.
now you've got Rose
Careful,
with you.
there's a pen up there that might fall at any point in
Oh,
time.
yeah.
A pen?
Yeah,
Oh,
if
yeah,
you
the
look
pen.
above you,
Yeah,
there's
he
a
threw a
pen
pen.
that's lodged into the
Mystery
ceiling.
Crate? Did Mystery Crate
Yeah,
throw
we
it
were
up there?
celebrating something. I think we were ranking our top 10 podcasts, and there's a blue pen that's just sticking out of the ceiling. Look over to your right a little bit, Dan. It's just sticking down a little bit. Yeah, it got lodged up in the ceiling above your head. We're worried that it's going to fall on you one day mid-show, and you're going to wonder where it came from.
I'm glad that I now have
Secret's out.
the story.
Now we'll fall in the bounce house. So.
It was because we were doing blind ranking as a podcast host, and Mad Dog
that's
came
right.
out, but I had already given away my number one. Yeah. So he had to go down to number 6.
It is for positivity. We need this in these difficult times. I would say that Reali bringing fun and positivity to the proceedings, even though this seems dangerous. Like at this point,
I'm worried about the lights.
well, I don't think the bounce house is going to be like. I think Reali's going to actually break things here.
Positive, all right?
Okay, but
Yeah, be positive. It's working out fine.
okay, but I don't. Why did you decide to put a bounce house in here, Reali? I don't understand how that.
Who doesn't like a bouncy house? It's
Yeah.
not a poll. Would you like a bouncy house at your party?
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Does your party get made better by a bounce house? Does every party get made better by a bounce house? Billy, in your travels, did you have any hotel room observations? Was there anything in the hotel rooms or outside of the hotel rooms that you happened upon?
No, I found out. I didn't know this. This is probably dumb of me. I found out you couldn't just stream things wherever you want, whenever you want. Like, there's different Netflix in different countries, and there's different, like, I wanted, and I know they're, I think, a partner of ours, Peacock. I had a show I wanted to watch on Peacock. I found out unavailable outside of the United States, which really threw a wrench in my plan. This was going to be my evening viewing habits after the children went to sleep. I couldn't.
Reali, sit here.
Wait, sit here. I brought this in for a reason. I'm sitting here.
Okay, but it's not inflated. You didn't succeed.
Careful.
What happened? Why did you stop?
There was no bounce there.
Why did you stop? And why does a bounce house only works if it stays inflated?
I think our company has bounce houses, but not extension cords is the issue.
Welcome. I want to hear the story of how that is an entrance. It is an entrance, but it.
Yeah, well, I mean, we need
ran out of air.
bouncy apartment. I mean, I'm not running out of air for you guys. I'm here all week, baby.
He is all week. We are excited to have him. Mike, though, I will say at the beginning, I was sort of disappointed. You came in here, you hugged Roy. He told you he was tired.
Yeah.
Mike, soon after you left, said that your positivity and your peppiness was a little too much for him on a Monday morning.
That's okay.
And Stugotz also said that's a lot for a Monday.
Yeah. I did not say that. Mike said that. I said if there was a master class to be given in small talk, Tony would teach the master class.
He did say that. He did say that, but Mike grew tired of the small talk, hearing it for the third time with the third person.
There's a lot.
You just spreading compliments.
They were calling you phony Batoni.
So you didn't feel it was genuine, is what you're telling me.
I just couldn't match that energy on a Monday morning.
Okay, you'll get there, though.
You're hell-bent on making sure.
It's a marathon, not a sprint, although it always is a sprint for me. When I did long races, always try to take the lead those first 100, 200, 300 meters.
Yes.
It's the best thing in the world.
The
You come
turkey
out-
trot, 5 miles. I did it every
nobody-
Thanksgiving. Yeah.
But nobody remembers really where you finish if you don't win it. But if you're in the lead those first 100, 200 meters, everybody notices.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
You're right.
Why are you agreeing with a turkey trot as if you're a turkey trot expert?
I've
You've
told the
never
story
done-
before.
You've
No.
never done a
Did it
turkey
every year.
trot. Nobody,
Every
hold
year,
on
Dan.
a second.
Yeah.
No, hold on
Every
a
year.
second.
Yo, that's not right. That's not right. I do it every year.
Turkey trot.
There's no way you do that.
What have I done for my career? What am I doing? What are you doing in my
Perhaps
career?
every year was a stretch, okay? But the last time I did it, Tony is right.
Yes.
I sprinted. I was the leader
It's
after
a
like
great
100 yards.
strategy. I would recommend it to everybody. I like your monitors here. I feel like I'm an NHL coach looking up at the. Oh yeah.
Reali's a runner. Reali,
Yeah.
did you run in South Florida? It's too hot to run here.
I
yeah?
just got in. I was surfing in Malibu. I went to Zeros. You ever see Point Break? 5-foot walls at Zeros?
No, we've never seen it.
I've seen 3-foot walls at Zeros.
What's this movie you speak of?
Yes, of course. So I just got back. So I didn't get a run in yet, but I'm sure they got a workout in.
The wheelhouse of Mike Ryan and Stugotz, who have been waiting for a guest.
So we want a
sit in that
guest to
chair.
sit down and do Point Break and others. You know what, guys? I mean, we're here all week. Let's get it. Let's get around the popcorn. Let's go. Let's go. We'll do movies. We'll have a game segment
the popcorn.
Around the popcorn. All right. We got parents here. Let's go around the baby Bjorn.
This is going to be
All right.
for Dan.
Around the baby Bjorn.
Around the Bjorn.
We got Ron McGill in house.
Dan, you got a guy who's been hosting
Around
the
the horns. Yeah, I
for
know. This is what he
decades.
told me. This is
Right.
what he told me. He said,
Cannot
this is
wrangle
not your
him.
show.
Yeah.
Sit back, man.
He's not used to the back seat.
No, around the horns with Ron McGill, though. Come on. Kudo or Oryx, who you got? That's what I want.
I like it.
He came.
Can't keep up with me, Mike. Come on now.
It says Tony's Takeover.
Yeah.
Nobody told me they were doing Tony's Takeover. That explains why there's a
I like that. That's a great pose.
Okay, but why was there a bounce house?
Did we buy a bounce house just for that?
I don't know what that was. No
1
one,
hour rental. It's
Is
okay.
that the Target logo?
Yeah.
No one.
That's beautiful. I like that. Can I take that home?
I saw on David Sampson's show, he's got scrolling across the bottom an infomercial number that makes it look like graphically. It looks
Worst
like,
number.
It's so great. The whole thing looks like QVC. David Sampson giving you sports opinions with a QVC font. But this is what's happening here, Mike. I can't wrangle the giant personality of 23 years a star daily on ESPN. He has his own show. He's not a team player.
I got nothing to do, guys. I got nothing to do.
I don't think you can listen to us even.
Oh, I hear every word you're saying. It's active listening, though. It's, I've Wordy Page on one side and Bill Plaschke on this side, doinks and dinks and binks. I take it all in.
David Cohen to the Jays was a great deadline acquisition.
That is a good
I mean,
one.
so good.
That is a good one.
Yes.
That is a good one. That
So
is a
good.
good one.
It was a great one.
That's an all.
Yeah.
Are we
Tony.
doing that? I
Well,
missed
we
the
were.
conversation.
Well, Brad
CC
Marchand.
Sabathia.
Yes, we were talking
Okay.
about.
Yeah, CC.
we were-
Randy Johnson to the Astros. You
Great
went
one.
10-1.
Great one.
Okay.
We didn't do Randy Johnson,
Okay,
but we
put
were
Randy
talking about
Johnson.
how they're
We'll
all
do
in
that, 10 and
baseball.
1.
We're talking about
Yeah.
how so when you get one in hockey, or you get Rasheed Wallace. We did Rasheed Wallace in basketball.
Yeah.
How many others are there in basketball? Somebody, God Almighty, there aren't many of those, right? You guys tell me
No.
every year it's
Drexler?
George Hill, and it's never George Hill.
It's been George Hill. Relax.
It has never been George Hill.
Now, baseball was the one that had trade deadline. NFL didn't have trades for 50 years, it felt like.
They insist on making it George Hill. George Hill, did he win a championship somewhere? Did he win one? Did he get one somewhere in
You
there?
were locked
I
to
think
lose the
so.
East Finals with George Hill.
Eastern Conference, yeah.
You say, of course. I don't think he did. Did
George
Hill?
Hill was won a
San
title.
Antonio, the last San Antonio, the last quiet San Antonio year.
I don't know if George Hill's got a title or not, but Mike and Stugotz were telling me every year at the trade deadline that George Hill was the missing piece.
Yeah.
But
that is a great logo you got. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. I had a little too much color in the outfit, but everything else we're working with.
I loved on Reali's website his glam shots are so good. No, they're so good.
Thank you.
Where are we going to find your live stream with Izzy Gutierrez?
Well, I was hoping you were going to help with that. I don't know. I mean,
but where are we going to find it?
Yeah.
Our studio and our people are going to do an Around the Horn
Thank you
live
very
stream
much.
with you and
So
Izzy.
I had this idea, guys. I like this movie. This Boyhood by Richard Linklater. Okay, and it's the passage of time in a man, and to see it to me was very emotional. Right? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yes. So you saw. He shot it over 20 years, and you saw somebody grow over 20 years. I want to be able to sit and watch. Why am I looking at pictures of myself doing beefcake things?
Because the glam shots are great. Thank you, video, for being so quick with this. You had to be self-conscious taking these pictures. And
yeah,
also,
you notice I don't look at the camera often. I don't. That's not my.
You've been good at this since I've known you,
Yeah.
Tugotz. Tony, as a lifetime television person, when I saw him at the very beginning of his career,
I was just explaining this to Rosie. Yeah.
that he fell very naturally into. This might not be a natural thing to pose for the camera this way, but I will do it exceptionally well. He did it from a very young age.
Yeah.
Prodigy. Well, but appearance and give people the laughter so that they can get just the right shade on your face, so that you ring eternal for kids and people of all ages.
George Hill has never won a title.
Oh, big L. Damn, man.
But you feel like he has, because every trade deadline he's a missing piece who's never a missing piece.
Yeah. Well, Dennis Schroeder is that guy now. He's been on half the teams in the NBA.
Am I about to put Brad Marchand in the all-time category here? Because
he's
10 goals, 10 assists in 22 games.
Well, now he's continuing in the final too. I mean, that's
there.
everything, right?
I think we found an answer for greatest deadline acquisition ever.
Cone?
No, it was 11 days before the deadline, and it was in the NFL, and people forget it, but Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, wow. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
Didn't
Mike,
get the W, though.
do you see what's happening behind you, Mike? Jason can't be controlled anymore, and now he has made this a medium Mike Monday, even though I wanted to go to all of Billy's thoughts on his vacation travel.
Here's the question with Marchand. Are the Panthers still in the Stanley Cup if they don't have Marchand?
Yes.
How big of a deal is it?
Doesn't matter.
I love your take. I'm writing that one
That's
down.
not how those things get remembered.
I don't know. I'm not willing to just shout out yes immediately.
Yeah.
I'm
They had
not
a
willing to
7-game
do that.
series earlier.
There's nothing sadder than a bouncy house without air. I mean, really, you and this is the place you sometimes occupy in my life. You
But
are
what
the
happened?
bouncy house.
Why did-
you are the literal bouncy house without air.
Why didn't it stay up? What happened?
Well, I was
with the-
worried about blowing out your lights here. I made a tactical decision there that rather than take down the whole, I wanted a couple hits in your face and I wanted to jump, but I didn't want to take down the studio.
That would have been funny.
I didn't clear
though.
this with you
That-
guys.
That would have been.
It would have been funny for 5 minutes. Yeah.
It would have been funny right up until shards started breaking down.
Exactly.
And we couldn't then broadcast on a medium Mike Monday.
So,
Mike, what is happening behind you there with Jason, the director, who is going off script and doing whatever he wants with the imaging because you were jealous of Billy's Wild Willie Wednesday?
This is how you're framing it, and it's not true. I don't like it.
It's not how I'm framing it. It's how Jason's framing it.
Jay Ajayi was a good one.
Yeah.
Really helped.
Oh, in Philadelphia, that was a good one.
Oh my goodness, Jay was a good one.
That was 8 good touchdowns, and we thought he would run that way forever, and it was just those 8 games.
So is Zazo going to have to pick which one of his kids he likes the most to go to this game?
How
or
do we
not?
do
I
this?
think so, yeah.
Tony, what
Is that
about
where
this?
we are? Okay, around the
help
board,
us.
okay.
Help us with the game show that we're going to create
Yeah,
here
yeah,
because
parenting
Billy
game show around the
Billy
Bjorn.
no, not this is not around the Bjorn, but it kind of is around the Bjorn.
I just want to say it.
Billy, what is your idea for how we raise the stakes around Zaslow and put him to a test for one of his children, but also allow him to get tickets to a majestic game for all time.
Okay, how about this? How about a guarantee that you will go to Game 6 or 7? Now, here are the options. Game 6, you have to choose. Hold on.
Right,
Game 6, you can go, but you have to choose which of your children you love more, and you only get to choose one, and you will scar the other one for life. Game 7, you get to take both children, so you don't have to admit which one you love more. Ooh. However, you have to get on a plane and fly internationally as far as you possibly could for a game, and you'll be surrounded by people who hate you.
Yeah, I'm not into going to Game 7, man.
You'd rather tell your child which one you love more than go to a Game 7 with both children?
Yeah, I'd rather have to choose. I'd rather have to do Sophie's Choice with my kids for Game 6.
Well, that's how you create, serial killers.
Then go. I'm not. My boys wouldn't even want to go to Edmonton. They're not interested in that.
Not real Panther
Not
fans.
going to. No, I don't. I don't like the idea of being around 20,000 people at one time who are rooting for me to be devastated. I don't like the concept of that. I don't want to go to Edmonton.
That's a $5 fine for Tony Reali. What is the sound on your phone?
That was the Weather Channel somehow just started popping up.
Your eternally
weather,
happy phone.
Ray Liotta from Goodfellas.
So that was the Weather Channel. Sorry about that, guys.
I would choose Game 6.
How old are the children?
16 and 13. Love the Panthers. Love the Panthers.
Ooh, Dad,
it'd be hard.
Dad, you might have to sit this one out.
It'd be bad.
Yeah,
no, I'm saying you don't go.
Right, you drop them off. That's what you do.
That's a drop-off.
My dad did that for me and my brother.
Yeah.
Islanders. He did it. I wrote about it.
Really?
Yeah. Hadn't even considered.
Butch Goring.
Him not going was
91. 91, Butch Goring, yeah.
Yeah, Butch.
All of a sudden, I'm not even going.
It's the day after.
How about this? Wait, how about this? How about a
Had your
situation?
day yesterday.
2 tickets, one for you, one for your favorite child, or 3 tickets, one for each of your child and one for your wife. You stay home.
You're out now. You're completely
You're
checked
out.
out.
Both your kids get to go,
You
but
had
you
your
don't.
day yesterday. I hope you enjoyed it.
You got the house to yourself.
You can't go.
So all you're asking me is, do I want my boys to go to the game, or do I want everyone in my family except me to go to the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've
What
decided.
kind of proposition is that?
I think we've
A
decided.
great one.
You haven't been able to decide, it seems.
The tribunal has decided.
I would like to more examine the idea that you just readily, the day after Father's Day, slid so easily into the position of not even considering giving both tickets to your boys. Like it wasn't anywhere on your purview.
16
No.
and 13. I mean,
Does everyone know what I did for this team? I ended my vacation in North Carolina early. I came home. I put the family in the Zaslow mobile, and we drove straight through.
Okay, Zaslow has wanted echoing eternal praise for his sacrifice here, and he doesn't feel like he's getting it.
He fired the coach.
Okay, he fired the coach once.
2 years ago. Get over it.
Zaslow, what praise have we not given you enough for what you believe to be a legendary, enduring sacrifice on behalf of your team?
It's not about giving me praise. I just did what any of us would do. We're doing our part for the team. It's not about me. It's about the collective. I did my part. That's what it's about.
He called Paul Maurice the murderer of fun.
2 years ago, I apologized already.
There's fun. He murdered it.
He's allowed to apologize and for you to acknowledge that.
Right.
You know, some people, they dig their feet in and they still think Brad Marchand doesn't belong on the team. No, I'm telling you I was wrong. And I'm fine with it.
Reali, what would be your ruling as an around the horn veteran host of judging people's opinions? How egregious is it that Mike Ryan, before the playoffs started, when the Panthers acquired Brad Marchand, called him a bad player that he did not want on the team?
He preferred him to be a healthy scratch every game.
Rotational winger. And in my defense, you have no idea how good Mackey or Jesper would be playing in this
in
spot.
terms of all-time bad takes on Around the Horn, how would that one hold up against
that'd be in the -50s. It wouldn't be Pablo Torre.
I've walked that one
territory.
back. I've walked that one back.
Yeah,
I apologize for that. I mean,
it
I
is
was
not
wrong
a
about
flip-flop.
that.
It's just a renaissance of opinion.
But everyone
You
is
just
like
had a
so
new thought.
so
Yeah.
insistent that I turn around the other way and say, okay, I like this guy now. I'm never gonna like him. He's a bad person. I'm not wrong about that take. He's a bad person.
Well, but this is
bad guy.
But this part to me is always super interesting, and I know I tease.
Hey, it's personal. I don't have to like him.
This isn't so
bad
mean.
guy. It's personal. You know how you are with Crosby, and we're all just supposed to lay out and say, well, this is rational. That's how I am with Brad Marchand.
But he didn't play for the Panthers, Sidney Crosby.
I'm entitled to this. Look, you may not know what loyalty is. I care about the name on the front. not the one on the back.
I know you're not telling me that.
Spicy Mike Monday.
Let's ask Roy,
Definitely
though.
not a medium.
Roy,
Definitely
how
not
would you
medium.
feel about the Panthers getting Sidney Crosby? How would you feel about that?
I would not be happy, but I would have to swallow it.
There you
because
go.
That's what's happening.
There you go.
I'm
Right.
swallowing my medicine.
Okay.
Well,
Everyone
but-
now
no,
all of
but-
a sudden loves Jason Taylor's over there banging the drum, even though everyone forgets he signed with the Jets, and he was welcomed with open arms because everyone there is wearing a Brad Marchand jersey. So, yeah, come here, you traitor. You're more than welcome here.
Okay, so this one's interesting, though, because I will say for all the virtue signaling that we and others get accused of in sports, Mike actually gave up his allegiance to the Cleveland Browns because he thought Deshaun Watson was a bad person and literally stopped watching the Browns, stopped caring about the Browns, stopped talking about the Browns.
Marchand was just a Bruin.
Marchand was a Bruin, but also someone who Mike hates, and it made me think as he said this, I wonder who it's been most difficult in the history of sports for a fan base to come to grips with, oh, the guy who won me the championship and maybe the MVP, I don't like him so much, never liked him, and now have to separate all this feel good from it feels slightly less good because this guy's doing the winning for me. I don't have
Ray
a lot
Lewis.
It's not bad.
That's probably the best one.
Brett Favre going to Minnesota, getting him a game from the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but 2 years with the Jets, right?
But still, they played against him for 15. Green Bay,
Right.
Minnesota.
It's not a lot of times that something like this happens where a fan, what he's articulating, Zaz swallows easily. Mike, you heard Roy say, Sidney Crosby, who he hates, I'll swallow it. Mike's swallowing it reluctantly.
I think Rodman with Chicago is probably a good one from those years against the Pistons.
You had a good one that we were workshopping here. You also said Aroldis Chapman.
Right, when he's on the mound in the World Series with the Cubs, they win the World Series. Like, you did some bad things.
Ben Roethlisberger, too.
That one was a difficult one for Pittsburgh fans, and now they miss that they haven't had as good a quarterback since, and they miss the days of all of Ben Roethlisberger's 7-yard slants at the end, running out of the pocket like a skyscraper with legs.
They yearn for those days.
Yes, and longing desperately for that refrigerator with legs to roll out of the pocket and not hurt himself.
Not sports, but I did. I'm reluctant to admit this.
Go on.
I miss O.J. Simpson's Twitter contributions.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do you miss O.J. Simpson's Twitter contributions? Yes or no?
Strange.
Do we have any thoughts as a group of about Stephen A. Smith getting caught playing solitaire during Game 4 of the final?
Tony, the floor is yours.
I'm going to step away from the mic. I've been playing my own form of solitaire for a few weeks, so that's enough for me.
If anyone's shown us they could spin multiple plates over the last few months, it's been Stephen A. He's a man of many hats.
I will say this. You can go ahead and do that and play solitaire and multitask during the game, especially when you're someone who knows what's going to happen already, so you don't have to pay attention. But you can't lie about it afterward and say you were just doing it during timeouts. Like, if you're going to be the journalist, you got to be honest about that part, I think.
Does he?
Yeah.
I think he's primed for politics, actually.
Mm-hmm.
This
All right.
was also hours removed from First Take, where Molly was trying to help him. Like, hey, the cameras can see your screen, and he wasn't having it there. And then hours later, we see his screen to reveal he's playing solitaire during the
Okay,
finals.
but I want to. You've got Game 5 tonight, and the thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about, because I did think it's been interesting strategically, right, Stugotz? You don't often hear me say ever around here that someone was outcoached, because I don't have what I believe to be the working knowledge of the intricacies of what goes into a game plan often to know what adjustments were made in the third quarter that I missed because all of their scouting reports said that they had to do something defensively different on rotations, and I wasn't paying close enough attention to watch that way.
Yeah.
Carlisle is outcoaching Oklahoma City.
Well, it's 2-2.
But let me just explain to you what's happening in the game that can't happen, right? Oklahoma City just won a game that no team ever wins playing that way. Having that many turnovers, that few assists, and having that shooting percentage from three, every time that team has been that game has been played in playoff history, every time, that team loses. OKC just won it, and the reason I say that Indiana is doing a better job here is because I know OKC is better, but OKC has played 3 games in this series, unlike any games they have played this season where they can't get any assists. They're turning the ball over more than they're getting assists, and they've played 3 of their worst 4 games. It's happening to them, and the only reason they lost Game 4 is because they went 0 for 8 from 3 in the fourth quarter. Otherwise, they would have beaten OKC. That wasn't done to them. They went 0 for 8 from 3, not because OKC is great at defense at the end, though they are, but because they just missed 8 threes in the fourth quarter. But the reason I say what I say about Carlisle
It's a make-or-miss league, Dano.
is specifically because when you get the other team to do what you want and they're better than you and you're even in the series, you might outcoach the other team and still lose. Because it's what happened in Game 4.
Mark Dagenal.
Thank you.
That's a great one.
You wouldn't shut up. I was
it's
trying
the
to
spelling. It's the spelling that tricks me.
I was trying to help you, but
Thank
you.
you.
AULT, right?
Thank you. Yes.
Is
yes.
it Dagnalt?
Oh, there's a T.
Dagnalt.
Okay.
It should be Dagnalt.
The T is not silent.
Yeah. My larger point, though, in that series, Stugotz, did you see how close Indiana was to being up 3-1?
They should be up 3-1. They were outscored 31-17 in the fourth quarter. And I understand what you're saying about this is not their style, lack of assists, lack of distributing the basketball. You have to do what you have to do against the opponent once you make it to the NBA Finals. If you have to change your game a little bit, you change your game a little bit. And that's what happened. You know what I was happy to see, Dan? SGA in a big spot, down 2-1, his team facing a 3-1 deficit to the Pacers. He stepped up in that fourth quarter like one of the all-time greats. I needed to see that from him.
Took 4 steps.
Yeah.
1 point in the last 3 minutes from Indiana, 1 field goal in the last 5 minutes from Indiana. OKC does some of that. They don't do all of that.
Also, a terrible job by the NBA last night. How do we have Father's Day? We have that fantastic finish to the U.S. Open, and then you don't have an NBA game. It's Father's Day. How am I not sitting down Sunday night, 7 o'clock, 7:30 Eastern, watching a little NBA Finals Game 5? It's a terrible job by the NBA. Terrible. Should be ashamed of themselves.
Drop the ball.
Yep.
Egregious error.
Zaslow, holiday. Big holiday or not a big holiday? Father's Day.
It's not a holiday. It's a Sunday. I mean,
Father's Day. The day for fathers. That's a big day.
Yeah,
let's go.
Let's go. Big day ball.
Give me some hope.
So big, you don't need to go to a hockey game the next day. You just allow your children to go in your place.
Are we doing this? What are the stakes? What has to happen? It should be the stakes should be tonight's game, should it not?
For the basketball?
Well, just because you want to go to Game 6, right? Like we got to make a game.
I'm all in on OKC tonight.
Yeah, but that's.
Well, what am I supposed to do? You don't like my pick?
You got to give him like an alternate spread.
You have to, yes.
Series is 2-2.
SGA's over-under for points is 34.5, something
right,
like
well,
that.
let's go
that
there.
could be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, that could be fun.
Let's go there. Right. Over under.
Dagenham. Dagenham.
It's a T.